It's time for One Piece chapter 1154, titled Can't Even Die. I'm excited, man. You know, I will admit, as much as we make fun of the Viz in these videos, I do look forward to reading the Viz. It's like you
Oh
never know
yeah.
what you're gonna get, dude. Like at this point, like it's like going to church. You know, like man, it's like a canon event at this point. Like yeah, sure, why not? The Viz is here. So we're getting right into it. We got the Yamato cover page story, volume 38. Go pay your respects at the grave of the hero, born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo. Who is this?
Easy. It is none other than Jigoro, bro.
Yeah,
Which it was funny
Jigoro.
because when I was explaining this to Dax, I was like, when I said that, he was like, "Wait, what? What do you mean, Jigoro? Is that like 100%?" And I was just like, and I was telling him like the reason why I thought about it, and I just assumed that everybody thought that at that point. But in my reaction, while reacting, I was like, "Oh, Hero West Blue, Razor Ringo, I know who that is." And I pulled up the wiki in mid reaction, and it's because I made a video about this guy, like straight up like a Zoro s. It was
Yeah.
related to Kozuki and stuff like that, and I'd been waiting for this thing, and and whether or not timeline's interesting, but to like just poke a little deep into it. It was like Dax was basically like, that's so random. Why would it be Jigoro? Like, why would Oda do that? Like, what couldn't it just be like another way to find out like Ryuma was born in the West Blue or stuff like that? And I was like, that'd be interesting, but I think like the Jigoro thing just makes sense for a lot of different reasons. But one of them was that Oda went out of his way to specify this random zombies origin, and he didn't do that for most of the other zombies. And so that always stuck out to me. And so for people who don't know who Jigoro, if you don't know what we're referring to, that's one of Moria's zombies, the one that Zoro's shadow was put into. And so you guys know me as the shadow theory guy and looking into the random unimportant characters like Kong and Bogard. Jigoro always stuck out, and his backstory is insane. He soloed 7,000 pirates.
The random lore. Just a random
Yeah,
lore out of nowhere.
to save his family. And so like that I've always remembered that. And so hearing the grave of the hero, and I'm like, okay, that's a heroic tale, born in the West Blue, that lines up. And then raised in Ringo was like, oh my god, you're telling me this character that I thought was from Wano was from here but was raised there. And Ringo is insane because that would be Shimotsuki, so raised by the Shimotsuki, and that would play into Zoro's shadow fitting so well in Jigoro from Thriller Bark. And so like so many things lined up. And then I was like, wait, you can go one step further. According to the thing, he's like 59 years old. So that technically like it lines up even with like where we are with the chapters too, timeline wise. But 59 years ago. And then like I was like, wait, you know what's also interesting? It's like it's not Kiku that brought us here. It's not Yamato who's directing this. It's Cho, the Yakuza lady. And I was like, wait, wouldn't it just make sense if Jigoro was her husband, who's he saved for like, the 7,000 pirates? I'm like, wait a second, that kind of fits. Like it could be
Yeah.
like pre-Kaido, all of that lines up. And so one way or other, this is probably one of my favorite Yamato cover stories.
Dude, everybody's saying that. Everybody's so starved for just a little bit of stimulation. It's like a virgin just finally getting touched by a woman. Like, he's smiling. He's like, oh, here we go. Like, this
Dude,
is it. Like, this
that
cover page
virgin.
story is, it's kicking off. And yeah, like, I thought about Jigoro as well. I mean, like I said, the only thing that's hard about it is that we don't know if he actually lived in Wano. But Jigoro is such a Japanese name. It makes sense. I think it does fit. We do know that Moria came here and took Ryuma's corpse. So yeah, like if he took Jigoro's corpse from this shrine, yeah, it makes sense.
And he's not just Jigoro, he's Jigoro of the Wind, which wind is crazy. And in the context of the video that I'm talking
he's
about,
like old school dragon.
well, the thing that I was bringing up was that like Kiku, for example, it was Kiku of the falling snow or something like that, and a lot of the
Yeah.
Yakuza, so Cho is Cho of the moonflower, I believe, and then Hyogoro of the flower, and there's a various other iterations of those, post name epithets. And in the video I was postulating that like Kiku, for example, was found in Ringo. The main family is the Shimotsuki frost moon, so if there were side families, they would be iterations of snow or rain, so falling snow off of frost makes sense, right? A side family. And so that's what I was saying about like these other names. But then Jigoro came up because Jigoro of the wind, there's the wind moon, so it like I was like, wait, it could just be that he's from Wano, but now it seems more like no, he's from the West Blue, moved to Ringo, and was honorarily called like of the wind to like bring him into the Wano culture. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know where Oda is gonna like. Does he give us another cover story to like definitively say it's Jigoro, or add Jigoro's lore to what's about to happen next? Like kind of like in Caribou's backstory, we see that like random revolutionary in the background, but like it was meaningful because the grandma was related, and that was her son, and so it played a role more active than just that cover page. It played like an overarching role, and I wonder if that's what Oda's gonna do with Jigoro, because this is also around the same time that like another cover story like the German one would start pivoting into like other characters and their stories, like Vegapunk, so 38 volumes in, I don't know what Oda has to cook, but this one, I'm with the internet on that. This is a good one. Starved or
think
not,
they have to show whose grave this is. There's no way that we skip over this. Like, imagine next week we do not see the gravekeeper at all. I mean, not gravekeeper, but like who the grave belongs to. We actually just skip over to like Yamato eating some takoyaki, or Yamato's now at the flower capital of Momonosuke. No, dude, that'd be so foul.
That
Finally, when people are happy about a cover page story, we skip it. No,
that would make, if that were the case. No, but the thing is, can't you see that happening? Like Yamato, we just go to the next one and it's Yamato like literally doing what you're saying in Ringo, so having some like some fruit.
Quick, think of something Japanese.
Yeah, I was basically doing that. I'm like, he just has just something obnoxious, okay?
Just eating
and
sushi.
I'm saying, and like that would definitively be the worst chapter or cover story thing. The letdown it would be to just finally hype us up to just be like, yeah, hero, West Blue, whatever, bye. Like.
Who is it? Who cares? Imagine Oda drops in an SBS. Hey Oda, who did Yamato visit? Well, actually, he like makes up a brand new character. It's not even Jigoro. Like there was a legendary hero 5,000 years ago, and he was buried here. It's like, huh?
Oh my god, that'd be nuts if he did like a 3,000 year timeline. Like this was that guy's lab or some shit,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, and then Oda could go the other route.
Character.
I didn't have time to fit this story into, in hindsight, I never,
I had no time to actually flesh out Yamato's cover page story. It was too short. What can I say? We had to move on. We had to see Yamato eat some more food.
Yeah. If honestly, where we're at with, I mean, I didn't see the last bundle of SBS and the Fever card informations, but
where
we're at with the SBS,
the last SBS was so funny because Oda dropped actually nothing. I mean, he dropped like the Roger pirate rolls, and it was funny seeing that Roger. If you guys didn't see the SBS, Roger has a dedicated torturer on the crew.
Right, that was the fun part. Right. We're talking about this.
Yeah, but outside of that, like, that's pretty much it. Like, Oda just answered a lot of boob and tit jokes, and it's like, okay, thanks, Oda. Appreciate it, man.
Wait, what if those are important, huh? Like,
it could be.
Yeah, what if we find out that that's the One Piece, that's the laugh tale.
Hey,
and tits and
it could, but balls. I don't know if Oda has to like describe boobs and tits to us, right?
True. I told my wife
it's not like the other day concept.
You remember how because I started doing the stand, like I've been standing for the last like 4 recordings and pod streams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so like when I first did it, my angle was weird. So people are like, damn, Par's chest is huge. He's like Zoro measurements. And I was trying to explain that to my wife and like why it's funny. And I was like, yeah, so like Oda, okay, like, just don't judge, just listen. Oda gave us the measurements of Nami's waist, hips, and tits, and my wife's like, "Huh?" And then she's also like wondering why I'm mentioning this, and it's like, yeah. And then so like the meme around the thing is that Zoro's actually bigger measurements, so that's like he's 1 centimeter bigger. My wife's just like, what the like just like lost about with this. And then I was like, yeah, so that's why people on my stream were saying Par has like a Zoro chest, and she was like, oh, that's so weird. And I'm like, yeah, Oda does say a lot of weird stuff in that, so yes, that's for sure.
Oda's a funny guy, man. Oda is a very funny guy.
Yeah,
so,
certified gooner.
Yeah, certified
supporter.
gooner. Yeah. Do you think Oda gets any?
I mean, he has like 3 kids, right?
Yeah, but with his schedule, do you think he actually like, sleeps with his wife often?
I saw like an article, or was that an article or like an interview or something about like it was like a Japanese like expose on the work culture, and they were basically saying that like in Japanese cheating is super common because
I saw
every Friday all of the corporate world has to go drink out. That's where you like get upward mobility and shit like that. So in that context, for like the good of the family, they have to fully participate on that Friday. So it's just fully expected that Friday's the cheat day for all the.
I'm assuming it's a little
corporate.
bit different for Oda though.
I don't know. He's Mr. Economy, my guy. Oda's holding up. He's one of the Yonkos of Japan's GDP right now. He's single-handedly preventing more tourists from abusing the yen falling. Imagine One Piece drops and then oh man.
I mean, the minute Dragon Ball ended, they talked about how the GDP went down a little bit. When One Piece ends, it's gonna drop. When any like top 5 series ends, Japan cries a little bit.
Yeah.
The whole meme of like Teen Titans and the Travel to Tokyo movie where Gun is this manga artist who's being like hooked up to a machine, forced to endlessly paint manga. Like that is kind of what Japan wants, to be honest. Like just a money machine, and I can't blame them. If I had a what is it, like the golden goose? You just keep on breeding that golden goose, dude. Yeah, just keep on getting those eggs.
We loved that movie, and we talked about that movie. How come I've never thought about Gun as like a characterization of the manga? And what the? I'm so stupid.
I mean,
bro.
not even just the manga industry, the animation industry, just whipping those boys up every single day to work for pennies on the dollar.
And the plot is it's DC going over and kicking their ass, bro. That's also crazy because it's like Robin and everyone just like understanding his plight, but then also kicking his ass. And it's also controlled, like Slade is involved, right? Like some shit like that. So, or no, it was just like the fear or something of Slade was being played. I forget, but wow. Wait, Teen Titans going to Tokyo is so deep. That's crazy. DC kicking the Japanese anime industry.
They're making another Teen Titans live action movie.
What?
Yeah.
There's a first one?
Well, it wasn't like a movie, it was like a TV show, but they're finally going to do like a canon DC universe Teen Titans movie in the next couple of years, yeah.
Oh, so it's like more edgy though, right? Like is the Teen Titans show like super kidified, or is it like
the show I think was like dark and edgy, but I think the universe now is taking a turn with like James Gunn ever since the Superman movie dropped. So I don't know what the theme is going to be, but I'm kind of excited, man. Superman wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
I mean, Superman is usually, it's a hard movie to do, right? In this age where superheroes have been fleshed out so much.
People have superhero fatigue, but I think DC, they've been so out of the race compared to Marvel that I'm like looking forward to it. It's like, whoa, what are they going to do? It feels fresh in a way.
Somewhere between Marvel fumbling and super hard and DC just sitting and watching like what they were fumbling, including the director himself, James Gunn, who is part of the golden era of Marvel. Somewhere in between there was opportunity, and I'm glad like someone picked it up at least, and maybe DC scores a touchdown. It's like they're still running it down, but
I hope.
Yeah. It's just funny that like that's how hard Marvel fumbled, that the director that's carrying DC, or not carrying, but brings a lot of light in a different direction, would be
I mean, it's mainly
Marvel.
Disney's fault, not even just Marvel, but just it's Disney, dude. They're the ones who initially let James Gunn go, only to later rehire him a year later. It's like, okay, what are we doing, y'all?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even like a James Gunn diehard, but it feels like just such a bad idea because he posted something edgy 7-8 years ago. Like, okay, what are you, dumb?
Like, the way he got canceled versus like now what canceling means, like if you compared him to like Kanye West and the legendary last year run that guy has had, the crazy part of him being like as relevant as he is versus James Gunn, it's like, damn, for like that versus that's wild, like, not saying it's apples to apples, problematic.
Canceling is just silly overall,
but yeah, like
there's that one Love Island girl who said Chinky, and now like she's being canceled in the show. It's like, brother, that was like 10 years ago.
Well, I don't even know what you're talking about with that one.
Yeah, I just saw it online. So going back to Jigoro for a second, I like the Jigoro answer. I guess like my one hang up with it is like, what would Yamato's reaction be? Like, she doesn't know Jigoro, she hasn't heard the Jigoro story. Like, is Ocho and Kiku gonna like sit Yamato down and say, hey, here's the tale of Jigoro? Like, I don't know. I think that's where I'm like hung up at. I could see this being Ushimaru because we know that he was the former daimyo of Ringo and this is like his home turf. But we don't know if he was born in the West Blue, right? He's a Shimotsuki, so he should have been born in Wano, so that doesn't fit. It could be Ryuma, but Ryuma's a weird one because we don't know anything about him at all. He's like a canon character that also was in the Wild West fighting dragons. Like, Ryuma's another oddball. But people have been bringing up another theory that I think is kind of fun to play with, but I don't even know where to go with this one. Because again, it's like one of those characters that you can kind of do whatever with, but people are saying it could be Shiki. Like, Shiki died, Oda wrote him off, and this is his grave. But again, why would Shiki be considered a hero in Wano? Yeah, born in the West Blue, that could fit. We don't know where Shiki was born. Raised in Ringo, sure. He does have a kimono. He does have katanas. People are saying he looks like a Wano samurai in this chapter. So, maybe this is Oda writing him off. But even then, it's like, why would he be buried here?
Yeah, I think, not excluded. This wouldn't exclude Shiki from a conversation. I wouldn't put Shiki in the conversation for a lot of reasons. Like, like the West Blue part, I think that, like, even going by timeline wise, it could be that ship we saw, Herald, like when he was by Wano and there was a guy with the 2-sword style, Shiki's 2-sword style. It could be that Shiki was on that ship, and that was 79 years ago, I believe, and like Shiki is 81. So, or no, I think there's a 10-year gap or something like that. Shiki's age and whatever. So, point is that there's just a few things that it would be weird for Shiki to be this, but another detail that could probably be assumed is that if this is a hero of like Ringo, like, or Wano, it had to have been before Kaido got here, because there wouldn't have been what would you be a hero of and for in between when like the threat was Odin and then Luffy, you know what I mean? Like, there was you would be in prison, or like you wouldn't like necessarily be glamorized as a hero, especially with all the indoctrination that they had too, right? So with under Orochi, right? Like, there's a lot of interesting details with that I feel like would make enough sense to say that this person was probably born before Kaido got here. And they're not like a national treasure like Ryuma, but they're a hero. We don't know what that fully encompasses, but the other reason why I like the Jigoro thing is just that Oda randomly gave us his backstory, and that's enough of a backstory to claim someone to be a hero. You know what I mean? 7,000 pirates is more than just like, oh, here that might be like legendary status, we're getting
What
up
if
there.
we learned that those pirates were disabled though?
Hey, disabled or not, 7,000. It's like the whole 100 humans versus gorilla, right? Like one human's lame, but 100 lamos might take the gorilla, right? So it's like, yeah, we got a disabled person. 7,000 disabled people might be able to take a gorilla. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Like,
What if these 7,000 pirates who were disabled had no arms and no legs? And
hey,
they couldn't fight back.
I would look at it the same way as our glorious leader Akainu, man. Pirate's a pirate, full force. 7,000 sounds like something Akainu would be proud of, whether they're disabled or not. It's something you hold to your chest.
Okay.
It's a feat.
I respect that. And then plus, like, dead men tell no tales. So maybe Jigoro just, chopped all their heads off like, you're going to lose another one today.
Or he did the Roger thing and he kept one alive so that they could tell the tale.
The neck to head an appendage? Probably not, right? I was going to say limb at first. Like, you're going to lose another limb, but that wouldn't count, right? It's not appendage either. Well, how would you describe
appendage
that? You're losing another body
I guess
part?
an appendage would count from like a alien perspective. But like from a human-centric anatomy, like I don't know if we'd consider an appendage. Let's look at what I think appendage means. Like, what does appendage mean? Let's see.
Define
external body parts that extend from the main body of an organism, often used for locomotion, feeding, or sensory. Yeah, I guess arms, legs. But yeah, this is what I was getting, and I think from a human-centric perspective, we wouldn't count the head as an appendage. But from an alien, they would look like, yeah, that's a feeding part. That's a feeding thing.
Yeah, maybe Jigoro's part alien. I don't know, man. I like Jigoro. I enjoyed him back in Thriller Bark. If this is his grave, W. I just hope Yamato gets something out of it. I think that's my one thing. I hope Yamato looks at it and like, I remember hearing about this guy in Odin's logbook. Just something.
Yeah,
something to make it meaningful for Yamato Ulti in page 1.
I think, what's it called? As far as like how it could be relevant, it could be maybe that is like a preset destination for Yamato. Yamato's like, damn, I want to go see where he's from in the West Blue. Or like, it's like that could be a serving for like exciting Yamato about the world, that someone not born on Wano ended up being a hero here too,
I like that.
So like it could be that route, or it could also be Wano centric for the cover story.
What about this actually ties in to the next chapter? Like, what if we see Shiki and he's like, remember back at the beginning of Wano, we had those kids saying, "Oh, Orochi two-sword style." What if Shiki whips out his dual katanas next chapter, and he's like, Jigoro style! Like, oh my god. That'd be kind of nuts. Jigoro two-sword style. Ballerina to demise.
What was Zoro's nickname in Wano?
Didn't they
Zoro
call him,
Juro, right?
Yeah.
Zoro Juro. So the joke I was gonna make was Jigoro rhymes with Zoro's dad, Pin Zoro. Yo, is there a coincidence? I think not.
Would it be nuts if this was... Yeah, no, this would not be Zoro's dad or grandfather. Right?
No, because we know... Well, it could be on the mom's side.
Arashi died in the open seas.
Terra.
Pinzuro never got like a described death, did he?
I don't think so. Pinzuro was
Pinzuro is Zoro's grandfather.
On the
swordsman from the East Blue. Okay, yeah, he would not fit. Yeah.
Pinzuro is from Wano. Arashi, we don't know where he would be considered born, I don't think, right?
Yeah, Zoro's family is so interesting. It's just tough because, like, it's just an SBS thing.
Going back to that, yeah.
Going back to the SBS, man.
Surely Oda does not leave us hanging. That being said, I think the worst timeline would be we get it explained by some random Japanese viewer who's like, "Hey, Oda, who is this guy?" and we waste an SBS. Like I say waste an SBS because I like Jigoro, right?
Yeah.
But I would still claim that to be a waste because it's like it's not important enough to be even validated as a theory. We could just leave it as a theory, and if we're gonna explain it, just use the next cover story. Like just do that. Just do that. Don't do like extra random BS about Jigoro if he doesn't matter to the story for an SBS, you know?
I forgot about this, but yeah, Jigoro has a Hitler stash too.
He does.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe that means something about Zoro's disposition, as Grok would say.
That's so funny. Yeah, Jigoro is such a character, man. I mean, hopefully, if we see like what Jigoro looked like at his prime, he looked really cool. Like maybe the mustache just flowed all the way down. It wasn't just like a rectangle on his face.
That's the third sword. It just went down and made another blade. So he was the prototype of Zoro, the mouth blade.
Yeah.
But he used his mustache, and Zoro was like, "That shit's dumb."
Oh, and that's where his nickname comes from, because when he's not fighting, his mustache flows with the wind.
Yep.
Mustache blade.
This is this picture.
It's like something out of Bobobo.
Yeah, but speaking of the wind part too, that was actually my assumption of Shiki, bringing him up, relevant to chapter, obviously, when we get there. But I had a few videos talking about Wano and the extensions out to the world and the possible characters that's all stemmed from Wano. Even bringing up points that like, separating out the points that like the Japanese names for the admirals, like that is a code name, but their names are also Japanese. And then like Akainu has like the Yakuza tats and stuff like that, taking those things in consideration too. But Shiki just felt like, cause he's like the golden lion. It felt kind of crazy. I know we joked about him on the Parcast, but like given his power, I thought that Oda was like, oh, he would be of the wind, like Fugetsu.
I love those stories of like people back during like World War II going and living in Japan. They're like the one white guy there. They get like a Japanese ass name. That kind of feels like Shiki. Like, oh, Shiki, we know you're from the West Blue, but to us, you're the Golden Lion. Here's some katanas. Here's my robes. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy that like, Japan glorified like white and gold and like it's for God stuff, which is other people did that too. And then it's like, but they like none of them could be blonde, so like blonde, they were already like putting another group on a pedestal a little bit. So it's just kind of funny when you think about Shiki.
I like it.
Was Shiki just like, did he show up? If it was Shiki here, how that would be so interesting.
But we do know that Shiki has like this weird tie into Wano too with Higurashi. Like, we always thought that Higurashi was a part of Rox's crew, or, Rox ran into Higurashi, but maybe Shiki came to her, man. She was just living in Wano, and then Shiki showed up.
Faked his death, and then, like, Kaido was, Higurashi was like, yo, Kaido, go take over Shiki's home. And it's like, why doesn't Shiki just do that? Oh, Shiki's, has a 20-year plan. He's gonna go over there. Chapter 0, baby. And I was like, it's so, Shiki's a weird dude. Why didn't you go back to Wano? Now I think about it. He could have. Who would win? Odin versus Shiki?
Odin.
Yeah,
Odin
because people think that Odin would, if like Kaido didn't, whatever, the fight would at least be more difficult. If not, Odin would win. Some people believe that, but if Shiki showed up, it's like, I don't think Shiki would be stronger than Odin, right? That's kind of wild to think about.
Like thinking about Shiki current day, that's a really weird one because we don't really Strong World. I think Strong World kind of brings a damper on Shiki's power scaling perspectives. I mean, it's like thinking of like a pre-time skip villain, right? It's like, Anel's gonna come back, he's gonna be a lot stronger. He's gonna have haki, he's gonna do this or that. Crocodile, when he comes back, he's gonna be nuts. Like it's such an unknown.
But this would be 20 years ago, Shiki. Like, instead of Kaido, it was Shiki, right? Like, Kaido.
20 years ago, Shiki.
Yeah. Because then it would be, if you say Odin, then that would, power skills would be nuts. Oh, you're putting Odin above Sengoku and Garp? They needed both of them to take down, Shiki. And it's like.
No, I'd say Odin wins that one. I don't know why. I like Shiki. I can't imagine Prime Shiki beating Prime Odin.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in the whole thing where Kaido's like giving us top 5, which of course it's kind of skewed, right? Some characters I feel like he left out there, but Shiki wasn't up
not
there,
really
brother.
a top 5. He didn't say top 5, just pointing it out there. But yeah,
he didn't say top 5, but you know, if I'm thinking about my biggest ops, you know, I would put my top 5 up there. But it also makes you wonder, like, oh, you know, Emu's not up there. Mihawk's not up there, you know. Oh my God, Garling's not up there.
Garp's
not up there. Sengoku's not up. Like, yeah. Like, imagine if Kaido realistically put in every single character he considered strong. It would be like kind of silly at that point, right? Imagine 20, 30 characters all in that one panel. I think Oda really wanted to just condense it and keep it to people who are relevant to Luffy.
Someone should edit that anime scene where it starts off boom, 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 and then it also pans out and boom, boom. We just extend it and we add every character that we can understandably think is like a threat to Kaido, because he was basically saying like, these are all the people who can hurt me, who have hurt me. Yeah. So like, you know, that's why it's like, oh, maybe Garp didn't touch Kaido, but you know, Big Mom's a little interesting because we just saw them like clash like that, right? But point is, it's like someone should really just go the extra mile, just boom, boom, throw Garling in there, throw Garp in there, throw Big Mom in there, all those things. Because at the end of the day, then you'd be saying Odin's over Garp. God, like what? What are we talking about? That'd be insane. I don't think anyone would have that like take, right?
I'm looking at the memes. Somebody photoshopped a Rouge in there. Somebody photoshopped like the admirals in there. You know, so some are like Mickey Mouse and, you know, Looney Tunes because Luffy's in Gear Pit. Like, how high will your ceiling go? Just add in like random characters. There's one with Dragon. It was like, how long will you do nothing? And then they put people who just don't act. It's like, God, it's so funny.
All the Toon Force, put Rolf in there. Like, just
Rolf from Ed and Eddie. Wow, that's a crazy reference. What made you think about Rolf?
We always brought up Rolf.
Son of a
when people
farmer?
talk about Toon Force. Everyone talked about Tom and Jerry. Me and you were like, Rolf, bro.
I've never talked about Rolf with you before.
No, what do you mean?
I've never. No, Rolf is like a conversation I save for certain people. I don't think we've had that convo yet.
Damn, is it certain people based off of skin color, or certain people based off of like what's happening here?
You gotta be the son of a farmer.
No, you're not the golden lion part.
Who's your favorite Ed and Eddie character?
Ed favorite? I mean, I liked Ed. I liked Ed and Eddie. I liked Ed and Eddie. I mean, Ed with 2Ds was not as fun as Eddie and Ed, you know?
Yeah. I liked Eddie, but I also, if I had to pick somebody outside, Kevin was always my GOAT, dude.
Kevin,
bro. What? Shovel chin.
Kevin, wait, hold on.
Kevin was like the main bully. I always loved Kevin, dude.
I'm just forgetting his wait, no, Kevin was I like Kevin too. I liked his bike.
It's like, get on, man.
I liked his bike. He inspired me to try bike tricks. And then also I very quickly realized I'm not good on bikes, so I stopped that very quickly. But...
and I also love the Canker Sisters, man. The one with blue hair.
I mean, that was the only option, right?
I mean, there's other girls there, right? There's the blonde one, the orange-haired one, and then there's also Sarah. Yeah, Sarah, I think was one of them. Not like a Canker sister, but she's like
the
girl.
Blonde, the orange, and blue one. But like, I'm looking at them. The other two aren't really.
The blonde one isn't that bad, but the blue-haired one was always the GOAT. The blue-haired.
I feel like she wasn't even. The blonde one wasn't even like a main character, even of the sisters.
It's not fair. I think they all had equal screen time. They were always together. They were kind of like the delightful kids from down the lane. Like, you would never have a scene without the others being there, being present.
Yeah, but the orange hair girl and the blue hair girl, their crushes mattered, and then the blonde one, her crush was just the default third. You know, right? Like, that was kind of the situation.
No, they just like Ed and Eddie. I mean, it's like 3 for 3.
Yeah, but they each have their own, or am I mixing that with Powerpuff Girls? I thought they each had their own Ed.
Yeah, they each had their own Ed, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the blue
It
one,
wasn't like a
blue-haired
default.
one,
I mean, they actually liked each other. Well, okay, whoa.
liked
The Canker
Eddie.
Sisters liked them. Yeah. I gotta phrase that better. But yeah, shouts to the Canker Sisters, man. A trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
Which
Definitely good times.
this is a perfect transition because speaking about trips down memory lane, Charlotte Lynlin,
the fourth Canker Sister.
Yeah, she kind of does look like a Canker Sister.
Yeah, I'm looking
we
at
see
it right now.
a Charlotte Lynlin panel, and we get the whole thing about her killing Yorul, Beardfall Yorul, crazy nickname for a guy that just gets one shot by Big Mom, right? I mean, brother, getting destroyed by Big Mom, is that like an anti-feat? Like, would you lose aura losing to Big Mom at such an early age? If you had like the whole thing where you're like one of the oldest giants, a legend of the village, would dying to Kid Big Mom be a scar on your reputation?
So we have to do some calculations, right? Because
Yeah.
Yarul is probably around 360 because this is it's 340 because this is 350 because Yorul is 408, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So then we minus 63, you get 345, whatever it is, and 355. I don't remember. I can't do math. Point is that 350 divided by 3 is 130, right? So like aroundish. So they're old by human standards and giant standards at this age. This would be like, do I think that like a 5-year-old could go to a senior citizen center and fight one of the patients and win? I think they could. Honestly,
But
I could put some
what if-
5 to 8-year-olds that could easily
What if the person that the kid is fighting is like a World War II veteran, like a decorated officer? Because I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but Yorul was kind of that guy. And the problem, well, not problem, but if we go to present day and we see Yorul fight Emu Dorian Brogy, like he said he's going to, right? He said, oh, like a warrior doesn't run. If Yorul puts up crazy feats over here, whipping out the sword, knocking people back, conquers haki, blasting people, single man Hakaku sovereignty. If Yorul performs very well, then it kind of makes Yorul look bad in comparison.
Yes, I agree. 1, 2, that would be, I don't want to like exaggerate, but that would be like a wet dream to see Yorul just crash out and take like the world down with him, like Whitebeard, but he's just old giant dude, and he's just like, I don't know, like does what's that show called, Dororo or whatever, with the beard, like the hair guy? Is that this I forgot what that show was called, but yeah, he just does some like weird semi Kikon with his beard type shit. Like, bro, give that version to me. But I feel like I'm too jaded by the real world. After I saw Mike Tyson lose to Jake Paul like that, I'm like, yeah, maybe we gotta let the Giants retire. You know what I mean? We gotta let the older
let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah,
The phrase,
like,
I believe.
I'm too tired of getting disappointed. And the thing is, like, Oda draws the old characters that you can put stocks in and the old characters you can't, but have the reputation that you should. Like, Oda draws them very distinctively, right? Like, the reality is that, like, Garp looks like a unit. And would I put more money on him?
Oh.
Like,
what
yeah,
about this?
But like Yarul and Yorul are like hunched over. They don't even look like they could lift their swords anymore. I don't think I've seen them lift up their. Oh, actually, Yarul did lift up his axe in this one, so that's going too far. But point is,
Yeah, but here's the thing, Par. What if we get like a whole chapter breaking down all of Yarul and Yorul's feats? Like, we get the Emu chapter present day. That's like his name was Mountain Beard. He got that name because mountains would crumble at his mere presence. And then like we would just keep on going and going, lathering them up with all these imaginary feats. And then we learn that not only is he the world's oldest man, but he also holds the title of the world's youngest man too. And then we see him de-age himself and he goes back to his prime.
You know, I thought you were gonna skip the conversation and go straight to the meme, which is this is what I thought you were gonna say, and this isn't like racist. I didn't think that you do it because of that, but I thought you're gonna be like, we have a power in this story called it's not the power, but a character that brought it, Lao G, and the power of G, and I thought you were gonna be like, they got the power of J, your rule, and then like,
that's good too.
Yeah, and so then we get Prime Yorul and Yarul from the same thing that Lao G, pulled out of, What did he call it? It was just the power of G or something like that, right?
Yeah. He's like
G
Isaac
unit.
Newton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if they could do that? Maybe they if we get, I think we said this last time too, if we get something like Master Roshi type shit, where Scopper had the Master Roshi like look, like vibe. But Yorul and Yarul are in the Master Roshi or King Kai type of thing. Like they're actually powerful for some reason somehow. Like I want them to just like put their staff down on the lightning strikes.
Yeah. Or what if Yarul is like, okay, within my body lives deadly toxins that I've been saving up for 400 years. And then he opens his mouth and he's like, oh, and then like miasma just flows out. And it kills everything around you. Like, that would be nuts.
Yeah, you might as well just say it's smegma at that point. Like,
yeah, I mean, we're hoping for the best for this guy. But if Yarl pulls out, Yorl, what are you doing, brother? So we see that Elbaf is hit by famine, fires, gales, cold snaps is what Viz says, and poor fishing hauls as a result of the extreme weather. This brought this normally fertile land to the brink of starvation. Which is pretty crazy. Bad timing, right? Like, wow, just a winter storm. Are there no, like, I don't know, like, weathermen over there? Like, saying, hey, guys, like, prepare yourselves. This winter is going to be harsh. Because, I mean, surely this is, like, the first bad winter that Elbaf has had, right? Is this really due to Loki?
It's interesting. Dax and I had talked about timeline. It lasted for a few months, and the way the chapter paints it out, it makes you feel that it is Loki related in an interesting way, but there's like another angle to it because another character is highlighted in the same time frame, but that one's more loose than I think Loki, just tying it straight to Loki, because Loki is distraught. Loki is like has emotion. He has love for his mom. He's chasing after his mom at the beginning of it. So it's like tumultuous weather. And then when the weather stops, it's right after where it says, that Loki gave up on love. And so it's tied to emotion, possibly. Like Loki was no longer like struggling. And so it's kind of interesting, that timeline where it's like, okay, so if you could maybe associate the beginning with just anything, but it also ended in a way where it tied to his emotion. It seemed like you see him very distraught at the beginning, and then he's zero emotion at the end. So that's something me and Dax were talking about, where I forget where it said it right here. It said, where Loki abandoned any hope for love, at least in this in the Viz, and it says, meanwhile, Harold's diplomatic ties paid off, and Elbaf survived its long winter, which I think TCB used a different translation. But point is that at the beginning and end, it's kind of curious, because we wouldn't say that the curse is because of Loki. But if you were one of those people, then why wouldn't you also associate its end with something with Loki? So it is interesting.
Yeah, you could even say that Estrad brought it forth too, because, in line with that, Estrad dies and Elbaf goes back to normal.
Yeah. It's that's an interesting one too.
The feng shui girl, the astrology girl, she dies.
Yeah, the wind water. Yeah, it could be something that she put out. I don't want to spoil. I mean, I think Dax will post, but like he has a video probably coming out about his full theory, which I guess from what we were talking about already, you can kind of guess where he might go with it, but tying it to Loki and his eyes might be an interesting thing. Maybe there's some association with weather, which is something that people had thought about for Elbaf, weather related things. This isn't the first person where we saw distressed emotion changing weather situation. And these families are more or less might be tied through different things, which that part we'll get to a different time. But another thing that is interesting is the Big Mom angle, which is that Big Mom did this fire thing, which they could not associate to Loki, but they were just like, basically like the trauma of Big Mom is also part of Loki's bad luck. But like they obviously associate Big Mom with this tragedy. And right after that tragedy, which they were already in like the winter thing, that's why Big Mom like crashed out like this. That same year, they carry on, and it's the fires, the gales, and the cold snaps. And then it stops. And so it's like, wait, so like what could possibly be there? What could happen? And something else we talked about was the idea that maybe Mother Caramel, when she created Pandora, like the heat that was taken away from Elbaf by creating Pandora might have offset the weather, kind of like what Vegapunk was saying too, like with the islands. Even when you look at his Temperate Island, outside of it was all winter, and everything's has to be in a balance. And so Mother Caramel creating Pandora to soothe the fires, maybe that took away some of the energy from Elbaf or whatever. But then you're like, okay, so then why would it stop a few months later? We don't really have a timeline there. But then you look back at the cover story, or not the cover story, the Big Mom's backstory. We don't necessarily have a timeline of exactly when Mother Caramel dies, but we do know that she dies when Big Mom is 6. It's her 6th birthday, and at the time of this tragedy on Elbaf, Big Mom is 5. So while they do go to the House of Lamb probably within a few days, which is in the backstory, Mother Caramel's death might actually line up with the end of the fires, which that would be the ironic thing of like, associating the curses with Loki. It's like there might be another explainable reason for these things. They're just coincidences, and so that I would argue that'd be a third way if you don't want to tie it directly to Loki and by proxy Loki and his mom Estrid. Then I think Big Mom is a good 2nd/3rd option, if not first in probably some people's minds. But yeah, there could be a way that Mother Caramel's whole thing, hopefully, because we have Mother Caramel is on Elbaf while Harold is here. We haven't seen Mother Caramel yet in the backstory, right? So that's kind of interesting, considering her role with the world government, and she had saved the giants 100 years ago. So it's kind of interesting we don't see her yet. Curious about how that I mean, technically we do see her, but like not in effect.
But doesn't Big Mom leave after this as well?
Yeah, Big Mom leaves here after this point, right? A few days after this.
And they go to what is now Whole Cake Island, right?
Yeah, which is I forget which chapter. I think it's the like 867 or 868 maybe, but Whole Cake Island's like the giants are, it's like within their territory or some shit like that. And then that island eventually becomes Whole Cake Island.
Yeah.
So it is kind of interestingly put that way, but point being that like Mother Caramel being the contention point about how energy flows, I guess. So, I guess another thing that would relate to Vegapunk and what happens when people die and / what happens, the energy all around us. Maybe he'd be able to explain a little bit better.
Yeah. Shout outs. And, going back to one more thing about like balancing weather. I mean, that's all about like rain dance too, right? In rain dance, whenever you use it in Alabasta, it takes rain clouds away from other cities and, countries. So, yeah, if Big Mom creating Prometheus, wait, was it Prometheus? What was it called? Pandora.
Mother Caramel creating Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora could have caused all of this. We don't know, man. We do not know. So, we go on and we see that the queen is still sick in bed. She doesn't look that sick. She looks angry but not sick. I wonder how she succumbs to this illness. But either way, baby Loki crashes through the door, and the guards have to hold him back. It's kind of a funny scene, just 5 or 3 guards holding baby Loki back while he's reaching out. So yeah, we have that going on. And then we see that the villagers are still starving in the meanwhile. It's getting to the point where giants are attacking other giant villages for food. They could attack human villages. That'd be a little bit easy. But, they have honor. They have some pride. The king is working towards diplomacy. So if they did that, that would kind of be bad. So rather fight your neighbor than them. I kind of get it. So while this is all going on, we see that the rumor that Loki is cursed is spreading. Yeah, one guy says, from what I've heard, that the prince... Wait, I heard that the prince of the castle is accursed. And because of this, they actually attack Higurashi and Ida. Pretty insane. They want to sacrifice Higurashi. So, this all goes down. What do you think about it? Do you like the infighting?
I think that the standout thing for me, besides the guy who walks in, insta chokeholds Ida, wild, but wild. That guy who told that rumor, that guy is an op for sure. Like, Oda silhouetted him like a demon. It's crazy. And the interesting thing about that is I talked about this in the reaction, because not that I was confused. Obviously, the scorn that when Loki's rampaging and he's like, this is the payback for the scorn he received. And I found that interesting because there's the curse. Yes. Obviously that is what that's referring to. But in effect, we see the King's Guards backing Loki, not once, not twice, but multiple times. Estrid's this is a monster, and it's the guards who are why is she this insane? I get it, the eyes, whatever, but they're no, he's the prince, Loki, don't go that way, and they're actually really nice to him. And then the other thing is then we also see some of the guards bullying Higurashi on behalf of Loki, calling him the legitimate king, which is that cool. Also shows you how much substantial respect Loki has, that despite the curse, which, by the way, the other thing that's weird about the curse is Estrid is bedridden. So the only ear that is to this rumor or curse would be the guards. So it's this person is more than just a silhouette. I feel this guy who's starting this thing, in a previous conversation, I'm bro, this guy is as villainous as the overlords that Oda also silhouetted. Oda painted this up, and the people who didn't let Ida come into the castle, those overlord people who make terrible decisions through and through, they're this guy, that guy, they're all in league. They're all the main problems with Elbaf, which is so weird, because to see the role that those elders play and see them not present in Elbaf, in recent history or now, it's what the heck? Those guys are such a problem. And it carries on later in this chapter with do we get to the part? Oh, it's the next part with Estrid's brother. It's bro, that decision to choose him as the guardian after everybody in the royal castle should know what Estrid was doing to this boy. That is the wildest direction, and no shot Harold made that choice. That wouldn't make sense. If it was up to Harold, he'd choose Ida. Ida would volunteer, but we know those elders are we gotta have Estrid's older brother, more pure blood in this castle, that type of shit.
Yeah, it's so crazy we don't see the elders, bro.
Yeah.
Do you think they just died during the famine? Could that be possible?
They better have. They better have, bro.
I mean, they already look old and fragile. If they died during the famine crisis, yeah, that's fair. This reminds me of our bro dude, Mao Zedong, the guy who created the Great Famine in China. I'm surprised that the giants didn't eventually just start eating each other. This is their dark history of cannibalism.
Yeah, the dark history. It could be. We don't know. Maybe they start sympathizing with Big Mom. Maybe they're oh,
maybe we judge too soon.
Yeah. She's actually the hero of Elbaf, actually.
Yeah, maybe Big Mom was cooking. Well, technically, Big Mom didn't anybody yet, I think, in the timeline.
Well, by now they know, right? Yeah, because 6 months hasn't, or the few months haven't gone by yet. Yeah.
It's around the corner. Maybe it's in tandem. Elbaf is going through this, and Big Mom eats somebody.
Well, yeah, Mother Caramel.
Yeah.
Or are you not on the? Are you? You're not on the train that Mother Caramel was in fact eaten?
Oh, I believe Mother Carmel was eaten. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some people don't believe that. They think that Mother Carmel didn't get eaten.
No, I think it's better if Big Mom eats her.
Yeah.
I do
And then
hope that
Elbeth
Big
finds
Mom
out.
talks to Mother Carmel eventually, though. Like maybe Big Mom like pulls a Majin Buu and goes inside her own stomach, and then there's Mother Carmel saying, "Hey, it's
me, Mario."
I was about to say, would Mother Carmel blame Big Mom? I think she would. Yeah, Mother Carmel is
Or
always salty.
maybe she's been controlling Big Mom like a Gundam. Like she. It's not Big Mom. It wasn't supposed to be that big. It's kind of like a Laboon situation. Like Mother Carmel was inside Big Mom
This entire time.
Like, yeah, and she's been using like a Gundam. That's why General Frankie versus Big Mom goes so hard, because it'd be a parallel.
Wait a minute. I've never heard anybody bring this theory up, but this is a really good one. What if Mother Carmel saves Big Mom and Kaido from the volcano?
Oh, yeah. And then she adopts Kaido.
Yeah.
Too.
A son of this world
My
is a
little
child
lamb.
of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Come
It wasn't
join the
Big
House
Mom
of
that
Lambs.
liked Kaido as a brother. It was actually Mother Carmel.
Yeah, exactly. Brother Kaido.
Brother Do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Brother Do.
Brother Do.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like, I'm a big fan of like the whole, we got the father and son Kamehameha. Like, do you think eventually Big Mom's gonna do an attack and Mother Carmel's behind her?
100%. Come on. She's gonna go Hokoku's sovereignty solo, but it's gonna be Mother Caramel in the back, carrying the aura of giants, as she was the savior of 5 of them. The great incident 100 years ago.
Five giants were saved. 5 nameless giants, like right? That. Just the randoms.
Yeah,
like,
and that was
John
also
was there.
Interesting timeline, because from we don't have the exact timeline, but because I think the Mother Caramel thinks it said over 100 years ago, and we know that Harold stopped being a problem like 106 years ago, I think it was. So that it could mean that like that whole thing was a setup, because Harold was trying to change the giants reputation around the world. And then like those giants are like framed by Big Mom or something, or the world government, to plant Mother Caramel into the thing. Because it is interesting. It's like that would line up when Harold is actually changing the viewpoint of giants, and then you have an execution for giants for terrible crimes. Kind of wonder why the world government started clamping down on Harold. Does line up with what Yarl was talking about later in this chapter. But something else in this sequence that I thought was interesting was Ida kind of changing Higurashi like destiny path a little bit, because she goes, my son's the cutest boy in the world, and that means he's gotta live to be the oldest boy in the world. Oh my god,
dude,
that is the Viz translation.
Drop that line. Like that's kind of out of nowhere given the context. Maybe not out of nowhere, because some guy's like, oh, I'm gonna kill your son, but just your answer to that is, nope, my son's gonna be the oldest man alive one day. It's like, okay. Yeah, so that like one, Viz's choice of words is interesting. I don't know why they chose oldest boy instead of just going with a more natural flowing one, the longest living man, as we call Yarul. And that's where I was like, oh, his path isn't to be king, it's to be the old geriatric Imagine
soldier.
That. We're like, no, Higurashi, you're not going to be the king of giants. You're just going to be the oldest man alive. Come on.
I mean, that would be a response, a typical response. Oh, you must be sacrificed. No, my son is destined to be king of this. Like, that's a normal ass response, given he is the crown prince. He's like, oh, no. He's just going to be the longest living man. He's not destined to die now. Gonna be old. Not because he's going to live up to do anything important in his life. He's just going to live really long. Like, she did not say like, oh, he's going to be the smartest boy. He's going to be he's just going to survive. He's just going to be the Marco of the Whitebeard Pirates. Like, he's going to live beyond everybody, right? Like, cool.
Kind of lame.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I got you on the little bit of like I'm not critical of Hayden, but the story's not giving him His
Oh,
own mom
wait.
is
Here,
like,
I disagree with you here. I do not see this as a Hired L. It's an Ida L.
yeah, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's not like none of the criticism I put on Hayden is even his fault. It's like Oda hates him. Like, why did he give Ida this line where his mom just like, it's like, ah, oh, you must be sacrificed. And her only response is like, no, he doesn't die today. He dies somewhere very far down the line.
Yeah,
And
he's
it's
gonna
like,
die 500 years from now. It's like, oh,
and
cool,
it's not like
I think.
he's not gonna die today because he's gonna cure cancer. It's not. He's gonna free the giant. No, nothing like that. He's not gonna die today because he's destined to protect Nika. Nothing. No accolades. Just live long. Like,
And
that's
did
such
I
a
mention
funny...
that he's really cute?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks,
I was
Ida.
like his own mom. It can't say like stand on business for him. He's actually the crown, like the heir to the the kingdom right now. Technically, you know what I mean. They don't let
Moms,
Ida
man,
in.
you know, they tend to be a little bit embarrassing. It just be like that.
Yeah, yeah. So it was kind of crazy, but yeah, the guy is like, "Shut up, Ida! You had no right to seduce Harold like that, outsider." It was just like,
Yeah.
damn, this guy's watching this like Love Island, bro. He's locked into the drama.
I mean, villagers talk, brother. Like when there's no, Netflix or Hulu or PlayStation, all they do is yap about, the latest hot goss. They're talking about like real life Love Island over here. I can't blame it.
Yeah, nah, you're right. I think this is like we have to do this so that people don't like bring Love Island conversations into like politics, like who's Marjorie Taylor Greene dating or some shit like that,
Yeah.
Like they can make a whole drama series about politicians, but Nancy Pelosi and stuff like that, I'm sure it'd get all juicy, but that's the value of Love Island. We are allowed to separate it. Otherwise, it comes into your own life. You start suspecting Sarah from down the road for all this stuff that it's like, nah, bro, it's just on TV. Keep it on TV,
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
hey, Ida, I heard you were a dirty whore. How about we have another kid?
That's crazy. That he's not just a burglar child killer. He's also like a sex offender too.
No. He asked for consent, of course.
Oh yeah, but the other asking isn't where you have to get a response. Asking for consent doesn't make it approved automatically.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what Ida would say.
Yeah, I wish we could find out, but he has her in a chokehold already.
Is it a chokehold or is it Ida about to scream out yes?
Oh, sorry, you have to. That's
That's so crazy.
We can't. Of all, this is a Parcasters. Pause. Cut it. Cut the record. That's a crazy one.
Editors, get it out of here.
I promised your wife you would not get canceled as long as we're here. That one is something I can't save you from.
I know you could save me. You double down on it.
No.
You go even harder, Par. If you do that, it's gonna cancel mine out.
No, that's some crazy math. I mean, you are Asian. You would know the math. That's a good one.
Yeah. I watched a workout video the other day about like negatively charged water.
Uh-huh.
And how like, you got to drink water that's negatively charged to put your body into balance.
You joined the enlightening Scientology. Ooh, I love it.
You know what? I heard them say that. I was like, man, maybe they're cooking. Negatively charged water. Interesting.
Love it. Yeah.
Love it.
So it soaks up the bad minerals out of your body.
Yeah,
wait, no, wouldn't negatively charged water attract a positive charge in your, like if you were to go with the hippy dippy route, you would want to drink positive water to absorb the negative because opposites attract. If you drank negatively charged water, you would attract a positive charge out of you. Wait, that's how they get you. Oh man, then you sign up for the subscription, not realizing that you're locked in. Oh,
I saw one video. They were like, hey, if you want to get the best workouts known to mankind, you got to work out like how they did back in 5000 BC. You got to focus on the fundamental elements of movement. I'm like, what the hell? They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
our ancestors, they used to run a lot, so make sure to do a lot of these crazy lunges. It's like, wait, what the? I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
5000 BC famously had flat
It's so
floors
funny.
like we do. Like,
Yeah, shout outs to Dr. Mike. He made fun of them. But going out the chapter, we see that King Harold comes back and he says, "Don't make me pound you."
No, that's a good Viz cooking with that
Viz
one.
cooking. Viz is pounding him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. King Harold, he attacks this guy. And then he says, "Why do you turn on one another, my brethren?" In the same breath that I heard about the birth of Loki, I learned that my kingdom was suffering from starvation. I went at once to the countries with whom we have ties with, and without a single word, they went and loaded up their ships with massive piles of food. Each human has but a tiny body, but they banded together country after country and brought enough food to fill all of our giant bellies. And yeah, we see, the fruits of Harold's labor pay off here. And yeah, we got a bunch of ships here. Oda definitely did not want to show which flags these ships were flying, because then we'd start nitpicking, like, oh, which kingdom is this? Which kingdom is that? But I think that's really smart from Oda. Hide these ships, because we'd be questioning where they are today.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that if they're not world government affiliated ships, they are illegally doing this, because then if you're not world government, sailing on the ocean is illegal. So this would be an entire black market operation, technically, because the world government makes travel, unless you're part of the world government, illegal. And if you're a part of the world government and you want to charter ships, you have to get certain things approved, like Laville Kingdom from Nolan's backstory. In order to find Jaya again, the king had to get his voyage approved by the Gorsei. Now, that was 400 years ago, but we see similar protocols reflected within the story. So it is interesting, because at least the affiliation of these ships, whether they're pirates or not, is kind of important. But the context of pirate back then, 60 plus years ago, 68 years ago, is also very different than what we know today. So, and that also is relevant to something that happens later in the chapter. So I like that this is the way, this is like you said, the fruits of Harold's labor. I just find it highly unrealistic that you can't. There's no amount of you can't import enough food for all of Elbaf. I'm sorry. The amount of kingdoms he'd have to bring in, bro. You can't tell me, oh, humans have tiny bodies, but they banded together country after country. What did the TCB said something different, I feel like. They go, humans may be small in stature, but not will. Our allied nations came together to ensure that we got enough to truly fill and satiate our giant bellies. So I'm just like, yeah, at the cost of their entire.
It would be so funny if we got a box afterwards. Like, yeah, these countries, the reason why you don't see them current day is because they starved in the winter time. They had no food for themselves. They all just died. They're gone.
Yeah, this is not like a hurricane relief effort. This is months and months in winter. They literally say a few months later it stops, and it's like, bro, no, I'm sorry. There's no. I know what nation this was. This was none other than Pepe Kingdom, which we find out in modern day is starving and dying. So it's like, that's the only one that really makes sense. Because the other part is, if you're not part of the world government, you're not doing too well. That's the other thing, because you're if you're doing well enough, you're paying a heavenly tribute, and that's like a natural, sign of the wealth that you could pay the taxes to get the protection, and plus the wealth of the world government, and all the various other amenities. So it's like, bro, whoever Harold reached out, either these people aren't existing, or he did not bring fair negotiations. He had a gun to their head. They were like, oh God, what? How can we say no to this giant guy?
You know how King Harold's a little bit aloof? Imagine if King
Uh-huh.
Harold was threatening these guys all this time and he didn't know. Like, hey,
Yeah.
my people are starving, and he puts his hand on the table to rest it, and then it breaks the table. Like, the earth shatters around King Harold, and like, oh my god, we can't say no, guys.
Exactly, right?
Lock in.
At least like with Ida, right? Like that's a common tactic. I use this all the time, right? Women are just a softer person to receive. So like if I say something sometimes, then it received poorly. So I'm like, okay, like here, you do this, and they'll receive you much better. Like phone calls, anything, just something about it. And we saw when Harold was traveling, he was with Ida, and Ida was lock and step, and it's like, okay, I could trust the warmth of this person, but Harold, he looks scary. He
still has like the rumors around him about how he's a monster.
And he just went off. He literally came back to Elbaf like, I've committed many crimes. Like I am a problem. Like that is an insane admission. So you gotta recognize, like, if it's that bad that he recognizes, the other people are like, oh my god, Harold is coming back. And then they're like, a year later, he wants us to bring food after he just rampaged through our island. What are my options? Is he just gonna rampage again? Is he gonna turn back to the guy who was a year ago? Am I supposed to believe he turned coat? Like,
is he gonna eat us?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, we literally saw him kick his friend into a royal castle and just crack the entire kingdom for fun. For fun. It wasn't even for a reason. It was just for fun. Like,
and
that's
like,
when
where's
he's
the
not
woman?
angry.
Where's the princess?
We saw what happened when he's angry. He burned down that circus thing that Ida was in. That was when he was angry and the whole island was up in smoke. It was like a Buster call, bro. Like, you could easily put Harold back then equal to a Buster call solo, you know?
Yeah, they don't want to get on his bad side. I mean, obviously that's not the case. We're kind of joking, but there is a reality. Like, if there's like a two-piece that, yeah, Harold is strong-arming them and he doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
So we go on a little bit more and we see that Harold is finally mourning Astrid, finally seeing his son after all this time. And W Dad, man, I mean, you know, look at him doing his thing.
Carrying his son finally.
Yeah, and then never again.
Never again.
Shout-outs. Yeah, never again. I don't know.
Bro.
It's odd. I mean, I like Harold. I don't think he's a bad guy. But, you know, he's definitely prioritizing Elbaf more than his son. You can kind of tell that between, like, the whole thing, like, oh, Loki, his eyes are effed up. Okay. I get it. That's kind of sad. And then the whole thing was like, oh, you know, my son has got a lot of bruises. And then the guards, like, they try to explain, but it's like, does Harold even hear them out or hear why his son is so bruised? I don't know. Like, I said, I don't think he's a bad dad necessarily. He's just not the most attentive dad. Is that a good way to put it?
He's no, it's not even less attentive, because here's the problem, right? Like, you could put Harold on the same boat as Dragon. There's a larger thing coming into play, right? I think a lot of people are like, revolutionary army that's saving kingdoms around the world from an oppressive force. People understand that, like, if he lived with Luffy would be targeted, similar to how Ace was for Roger. He's the current world's worst criminal. Obviously, his family would be persecuted. Yeah. Now, Harold, right, he's going around for the greater cause, right? Could he have taken his son with him?
Yes, 100% he could have. If King Cobra can take Vivi to the Reverie, I think King Harold could have brought his absurdly strong baby around the world with him and taught him about, you know, diplomacy, what it's like to be a king, a prince. I just think that King Harold could have saved Loki if he did something different.
I agree, right? But let's forgive that. Maybe giants are he was afraid for Loki's safety. Maybe this traveling isn't that easy. It's not as simple as today. I mean, the thing is, based off of
King
the previous
Harold
thing,
is trying to break the narrative that giants are like these big bad monsters. Well, show them a baby. That usually works.
Loki's may not be the best baby to show, considering he could decapitate giant bears on day one and
that
survive.
was you know, life or death. You know, Loki with a caring father figure, somebody to keep him in line.
But what I want to say with the whole, you know, thing is like, let's say he justifies not bringing Loki and Higurashi off, because they said no, not pure blood in the castle, but so then Higurashi could have went too. Like Higurashi, they didn't not ban him from traveling around with his father, so Harold's like doubly interestingly abandoning his family. And then that breeds in the discourse between Loki and his brother. But if we back it up, at the minimum, would you not check? Like, especially, hey, he's got a lot of bruises. And it's like, okay, let's look into who's taking care of my son. Estrid's brother, the one who's cursed and damned to this son. How tragic. We just talked about that. Like, he could at least ensure that the daycare was safe. That's like, I mean, yeah, people are too busy to have their kid at home. They got jobs, they got lives, but you gotta go just check the daycare a little bit, you know. And then if the daycare, you did all the checks and then it still slips through, it happens. But Astrid's older brother being the chosen one, is like.
Do you think that Harold ever figured out why his son, his newborn son, has so many bruises? Like, I don't know. It kind of seems like Harold was like, oh yeah, you know, he's kind of hurt, but well, kids will be kids, I guess.
Yeah, like this is one of those cases where he's saying all the right things, like he's coached, like CPS is about to interview his ass. He's not getting caught. But when you like look at the absentism, this is a level of worse than, like, you know, Dragon, I would say, because it's like he's like actively absent, whereas like Dragon's like passively absent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like
but,
passively
you know,
absent
Dragon,
in the
it's like
case,
you know, Garp can excuse it.
Garp had Luffy, so it's like at least Dragon's like, all right, I can trust Luffy and Garp's overall supervision. He's not gonna let him die, and he's not a terrible person, right? But like, Harold didn't give a shit. Like, what the fuck? It's kind of crazy.
I don't know. And like, for Dragon, it's like, you know, it's like what you said. He couldn't bring Luffy with them because that's his like number one weakness. Harold doesn't exactly have that same mindset to our knowledge.
Yeah.
And then plus, like, nobody's going to be gunning after Luffy 24/7. It's not like Harold's a revolutionary per se. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I just look at it. I'm like, I feel like there's so many ways to help Loki. And it's not even like ways like you have to know abuse is going on. No. It's just like simple things to do with your son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, you know, Loki, or not Loki. Like, oh, Harold didn't see the signs. No. Like, I mean, sure, he didn't see the signs, but he still could have, I don't know, spent a day with his son at least. Figured out why he was so injured.
To the point that it's like,
does Harold even know that Loki has special eyes?
Right. He's just like, he doesn't know if he was born with an affliction of the eyes. I'm afraid though he can see, I assure you, right? It's like, he doesn't have no clue about. Yeah.
And like, what if Harold actually knows what's going on with Loki's eyes too? Like Harold, he's read text. Imagine how crazy that would be if Harold knew what was happening with the eyes, but he just never looked because the guards were like, yeah, you know, your son, eye infection.
Better off not seeing. Yeah, because he's bandaged when he sees him, right? Like, yeah, technically, you know, and, you know, just going back to it, it's like, I like that Oda didn't make it like a full Game of Thrones type of situation where, like the guards supremely bent over for the queen, like Estrid's perspective, because they gave pushback. They were defending Loki. They were like, yo, no, she's batshit crazy. Loki, yeah, his eyes are mad weird. He's huge. It takes 5 of us to stop him, but he's just a baby. He's just the baby. Yeah. And at least we can say that. And it's like, it's crazy because despite like some normalcy there, it's very obvious why Loki's a villain. It's like, it's not even like it's not one of those things like, oh, this is a complicated thing, you know, like, oh, that character meant well. No, they just didn't give a flying shit about this kid. No
They
one.
didn't even care, dude. My thing has always been, you know, I believe this from this chapter, but if Loki just had one person that was nice to him, he'd be fine.
And
Just
that's
one
where,
person in his camp. Could have been his dad,
and
not his dad. Could have been somebody like Ushimaru or like a guard. Didn't happen.
Yeah, right,
Like,
right.
bro.
And that's where I think it ultimately lands on the topic of, it was like, by the time this time skip, like, you know, goes through its course, we see that like the progression of Loki, and then the person dies. At that point, Loki's not, he's not unmoldable, but like at that person, you defined who he is, right? And I'm
Yeah.
saying that because the one person in his life, well, there's two in that are conversational, but I think an obvious person that is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be mentioned in this one, maybe later. I doubt we're going to get into this, but it's obviously Chiffon, right?
Yeah.
That
Or
was
Lola.
the one person that, oh, Lola, sorry. That and I was telling Dax this, like, at this point, it's most likely that it's like a pudding situation where Lola, like, you know, Loki was hiding his eyes from the world and hiding from the world and donning this evil perspective. And then through some mishap, somehow Lola got to see his eyes and like complimented it and was like, "You're not a monster. Like that. What are you talking about?" And it was kind of like that Sanji pudding moment. And like that was like the thing that like Loki was like, wow, like I was demonized for these things. My mom didn't even like me. And that's where you get that like the mommy issues, you know, stemming from Big Mom's child, but he got it from there. And but the problem being that it was too late, and because Lola ended up declining the prospects, Loki ended up continuing down probably the path that he was originally set out to be on. But if I were to say that there was one part that could have saved him, it would be then. And then the next part would be the conversations with Mosa, but that's already adult post-criminal Loki. He's already set, he's already defined. And again, as far as his backstory goes, there's like 2-3 obvious criminals that have to be like, bro, this old guy, Estrid's older brother, Harold is another villain in this. Estrid, obviously. Those 3 people, Harold especially, cannot look at current or modern Loki and be like, damn, where did I go wrong? No, you can't say that. Nah, you went wrong the entire time. Like, you weren't even looking west, bro.
Harold didn't mean badly. Like, you know, he's a good guy. It's just he didn't even really try is our thing. Like, I don't know, man. And then, of course, like, you know, I do believe that if he gave Loki to Ida, or if Ida could temporarily stay in the castle as a maid, even as a maid, Loki would be fine.
Yeah,
but
Loki
didn't happen.
Exactly.
And then Hyrden would have been best buds with Loki, right? Like if Hyrden met Loki at this age, they would be a-okay. The problem is that, you know, by the time Hyrden sees Loki, it's when Loki's going on rampages. That's when it's like, okay, there's just now consistent bad blood. But if Hyrden saw this Loki, I think he would definitely grow fond of him.
Yeah, and I think that's also the other frustrating part you mentioned is Ida was the solution, and there's many ways to involve Ida into it, but like,
even as
and then
a lowly
I go
blood
back,
commoner,
and the other, you know, I think if you don't want to involve the lowly blood commoner, it's as simple as Harold just taking his kids with him. Hyrden, and I would extend this to the part where Hyrden and Loki could have been best friends had Harold been present in either of their lives. Had he shielded Hyrden from Loki's like crash out, then it would have been like, because we see like the jealousy from Loki like seeing Hyrden have what he doesn't and stuff like that. Like that jealousy brewed from a larger issue. But at the end of the day, if Harold took either of them, both of them would have exponentially benefited. If he took Loki, Higurashi would have been shielded from Loki. If he took Higurashi also would have gotten the care that the prince would have when he goes like, I want both of you guys to rule the kingdom. Well, how did you set Higurashi up to do any of that? He didn't even know his brother. He wasn't allowed in the castle. You've been missing for most of this time. The entire king's guard is calling your son the illegitimate king, bastard child, and all while you don't care about him or Loki.
Yeah.
At least show up for one of them.
It's crazy now that I think about it, because it's like, I think Higurashi and King Harold, so far from what we've seen, has only had 2 interactions.
Yeah, and it's
nuts.
like he's treating Higurashi as if he's low blood too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
my thing is that, dude, Kuma would kill for this type of time with Bonnie. My God.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. And then we could add in the conspiracy theory. This chapter takes it less down from a conspiracy theory, but maybe this is why he couldn't take his kids on the ship. It's because Harold is out there banging bitches left and right, and out comes our boy Kaido, who also can't die.
I mean, okay, so you see that they look kind of similar, right? I'm not crazy.
Dude,
Kaido one guy, he was there's one guy that's gaslighting me in the comments. They're like, there's nothing similar about Kaido and Harold. I'm like,
bro,
no. I mean, and the thing is, people say that
AI
One Piece characters look similar. They're like, yeah, the women, they always look similar. And I kind of agree with that. Yeah, sure. But guys don't. Like, women do.
Kaido doesn't.
Guys don't, though. I don't know, man.
I'm sorry. Kaido and Harold.
Harold, in all walks of his life, he looks like Kaido. And then we have the Loki with a Kanabo falling from the sky, wanting to die. Like, it's all, and then Alcohol Village, Vodka King, like, okay, even if you do not think they're related, which is fine. It is just a theory. If you do not think it's true, I think that is totally fine. Not everybody has to be related, but you have to admit, you at least see where people are coming from. Do not lie. You can at least see why people are talking about it. You don't have to believe it. Yeah. But
I don't think that they're related, for the record, but to deny the associations that should be made is crazy. Now, Oda did the crazy thing with Kaido, where we got his entire life story in one chapter. So his face is etched into my brain. It's not that hard. It's one chapter. And then throughout this, we get the slow roll. I didn't even think we get this, but we even get Harold as a kid. And he just looks like a happy Kaido with different horns. That's it. It looks like the same dude. Yeah. They're both holding hammers of some sort. Like, one's Kanabo, one's a hammer. It's like, bro, they're and then guys, I brought it up last time. Someone's like, oh, the fish armor, the tattoo dragon, whatever bullshit. It doesn't matter. Like, Oda's drawn giants with armor and clothing. That's not this. And he made Harold specifically have something that looks 1-to-1 to what Kaido has. Like, yes, it's a Viking people wore chainmail armor, this type of thing. But it's like, look, Dory, Brogy, and Harold's the one guy who has it. Look at all the giants. There's not many that have this. Even the way it's on the shirt as he ages throughout the time, you cannot tell me that's meaningless, right? There's a reason. Now, I'm not saying the reason has to be that they're related, but the associations don't have to stop there, right? Like, Loki looked up to Rocks, right? Like, they're not related. I'm not saying Loki is Rocks' son. That doesn't make sense. But maybe there's something that Kaido knew about Harold. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he looked up to Harold. Maybe he comes here as a Rocks pirate and he sees Harold and he's like, yo, I want to be like that guy. There's something there's lots of ways that Oda could make the association. And I say that because something happens later in the chapter, but also, prefacing, it's like the Ace situation. Oda drew Ace in a good timeline and a bad timeline. And in the good timeline, he looks like Shanks. And we know that Shanks is not Roger's son, but he was raised by Roger. He followed in an ideal that was Roger. So does that make sense that Roger's biological son in a good timeline would end up like the kid that Roger actually did raise. It does make sense, doesn't it? So it's like, that's pretty interesting. So I wonder how that Oda's like, artistic style and his thematics, fit in with that Kaido thing. But do want to separate that part out because that's just Kaido and Harold and the appearance. But none of what I said applies to like the Loki parallel, because like that makes them feel like brothers. That makes them feel like they're clones.
Yeah.
That makes them feel that's something else.
It
bro.
feels like we traded one Kaido for another Kaido. We can't
Yeah,
go
Oda
one
just
arc
split
without
it up.
mentioning Kaido too, by the way, because like we mentioned Kaido during Egget Island. Luffy saw the Seraphim. He was like, yeah, like they're as durable as Kaido.
Yeah.
And then now we're having like the big mom mentions again. It's like, dude, we cannot go an arc without talking about those Yonko, bro. Which I don't mind.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the callback. Like we talked about it last time. We kind of joked. We were like, oh, like, can you imagine if every time somebody fights, they mention every single fight they've been in?
Yeah.
Like Zoro fights, I don't know. Zoro fights Loki or a Holy Knight, and he's like, oh my god, his flexibility is like Kaku back in Water 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that would be kind of fun.
That actually might have told him some things, honestly, given the giraffe god mythical stuff that we're seeing. Giraffes, dragons, king, maybe. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. Krinja.
Yeah.
Kilimanjaro. So
what about Kilimanjaro?
I don't know. It just felt right to say. It just felt right.
Asian enough.
Yeah, it was Asian enough. So
Yeah.
we go on a little bit. We see that Ida actually starts up the bar that we saw Shanks and Dorian Brogan calling in earlier in Elbaf. That's kind of cool. A nice little tie-in. Again, begs the question of where is Ida today, because she's not manning the bar. She's currently MIA. The bar right now belongs to Mato. So what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Did Ida take a day off, or is she dead? Or is she
the
just
famous theory that you debuted on my stream, which is that she's probably with romantically you added. Oh man, you were romantically adding Garotini Ballfingers because she is.
Oh man,
you saw way past anybody else in that she's wearing a frog apron.
I have to correct myself. A lot of astute observers out there, my bad guys, they're like, Sai, that does not fucking say frog. A lot of people are like, Sai, that literally, obviously we don't see the fourth letter, but they're saying that just is grog, as in, ale. I'm like, yeah, you're actually right. I didn't think of grog. We do not often hear grog. I only hear grog from like fantasy games, guys. I'm sorry. When I see the ROG, I just go to frog automatically, man.
It could also be prog, a pun on the place, or she's a programmer.
Oh, she's a programmer. Yeah, I think there's a lot of better options than me saying frog. But it happens, man. I see the ROG. Yeah, I just went to frog.
Considering
sorry,
your endpoint was like, how is ball fingers involved? I was like, when you said that, I was like,
you didn't disagree, by the way.
What do you mean I didn't disagree? I was dumbfounded. No, I didn't even.
No, you were right. You were like, yeah, you're right. Ball fingers, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The sarcasm
with
isn't a thing. Yeah. No, this is how little I cared about you saying this entire part on the stream. I didn't even look at her apron to verify whether there was. I assumed that there was a picture of a frog. I didn't assume that you miscorrectly put an F in front of Rog. Okay, like that's how little I care.
If you were to see this smart guy, what would you think, huh?
Nothing, because I did see this and I didn't even pay attention to it.
Oh, okay. So you don't have thoughts. All right, Par. So you don't have
free will, I hear. That's woo.
But Grog makes a lot of sense. But you gotta admit, there was a connection between her and Ballfingers. He did go to the bar, so I'm not like,
I don't think he did.
Dark.
At least from what we saw, he was on the ship and then he barely got to the coast.
No. We can imagine he was at the bar though, right? Before he hopped on the ship. He's a pirate. You tell me he doesn't go to bars, dude? Come on, Ballfinger?
He's a frog. I don't know what you know about frogs, but they're not really that common in the One Piece world. He's not even a kappa. He's not a fishman. He's a frog. Okay, like I don't know what to tell you. He's apparently just a normal human. Wait, what?
Do you think he knows Kawamatsu?
That's that. Just because he's green. Just because he's
green. Dude, okay.
That's crazy.
Now,
all green people don't know each other, okay?
We gotta move on to something I think is so funny. But Hyruden's master. Yeah. Hyruden's legendary Shisho elbow. Dude. This guy is this like his I talked to Brog about this. Is this like Rayleigh to Hyruden?
All I'm saying is like he better have like a brother named Kneecap or something. His father's the shoulder, mother is hip.
Don't forget there was a giant called Tall Man a while back.
I think that got changed in the officials. Remember, it wasn't Tall Man. It was
no way. Viz changed it. Wait, what's
Thor Man? It was Thor Man.
Remember? No effing way. Wait, Viz. I forgot about that. Viz named him Thor Man.
Yeah. It's Thor Man.
Yeah, Thor Man, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll admit, Viz. That's better than Tall Man.
Yeah. I mean, except he was a little tall, right?
Yeah,
so it did
he was
fit.
unnaturally tall.
Yes, but no, that was
right. Is
Thor
this
Man.
a Viz W?
No, Thorman, not you too.
Yeah, it's a Viz W. I'll accept that. I mean, it's funny because we came into your stream and we were talking about how that English readers of One Piece, they do not know what Hachinosu or Beehive Island is. Instead, they know of an island called Full-a-Lead.
Yeah. Which isn't wrong, but isn't right. It's
and they
not
had
wrong.
They had to actively change dialogue to fit their headcanon of Full-a-Lead, which is the most egregious part.
Yeah. It's not wrong because it is pun, but it's not right because the context tells us the proper name would be Beehive because the other word was Beehive. It was described as
apparently. Prince Groose was like, when you attack the island, they all come out like bees. But because they went with Full-a-Lead earlier on, Viz had to change his line completely. So it says, it's pockmarked with bullet holes. It's Full-a-Lead Island. So they had to actually change an entire line to fit the headcanon of Full-a-Lead. Which I gotta drop a poll now. Like, do you believe in Full-a-Lead Island or Beehive Island? Where do you fall?
I mean... Yeah, that was like Oda's way to tell us Stephen Paul was wrong because there's no reason. There's not that much reason to like do that, but then he definitively said like which one it was through the dialogue of the bees. So Beehive is the one that my personal favorite's actually the Spanish one, which is mucha full of bees. There we go.
Yeah.
Mucha full of bees. I like that one.
That was a good one.
That one is
I'm looking
great
at it right now.
Mucha and full is so funny. Very full of bees.
And this is my point always, but when the anime gets there in English, what will they go with? Because they went with Beehive in English dub. So not even like English dub agrees with Viz, which that has always been the case. And then like the whole like Mother Flame versus Mother Frame thing, ain't no way English dub is gonna go with Mother Frame, brother. No.
And I would argue, like where I was, I said this. I even said that Viz would say Mother Frame, as insane that would be. My point was always that Mother Frame is most likely a pun, and that's the maximum. It's a pun, but we're supposed to read it as Mother Flame, and Mother Frame is a pun, just like Beehive is the right one, and Full of Lead is the pun that you acknowledge. And the pun being, it's like full of lead, like when Blackbeard pumped Whitebeard full of lead. Like that was the wording, and it's relatable, and it's to the pun, but obviously the correct one, as said by the dialogue with Prince Groose, is that it's Beehive, right? So like, that's where it's kind of interesting. It's like, I think, this comes with like translating other languages too. When it comes to like literary devices and puns and double entendres, There's like an obvious intended one, and Oda kind of made it pretty obvious which one is the intended one. And so it's kind of crazy that like you would skew the rest of the translation to fit that part. So I don't see TCB doing. I'm not pitting anyone against each other. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's definitely something. So Elbow though, do you think we'll ever meet this guy? Is he Mosa? Because people are saying, the streets are saying that he is the number one candidate for Mosa right now.
Wow. I didn't know number one candidate, but I would like it. It'd be interesting. The alternative, right? Elbow would be someone who's not a King's Guard because he's in the Western Village, but he's strong enough. Here's the other thing. Like, if Elbow's not notable, Higurashi is a jerk. I'm not Higurashi. Herald, the biggest jerk. You're telling me the king couldn't hook him up with a proper, strong person? Not like I had assumed that Yarul and Yorul were the masters per Big Mom's flashback, but we're just like overseers. They were just old guys in the village that like they allowed Higurashi to like be there. But they didn't provide any guidance to his war. You're telling me the previous captains of the giant pirates didn't give any guidance, and some guy named Elbow is doing it? Herald has to be checked, bro. Not with Loki's guardian and not with like Hiruden's like teacher. Come on, guy. You couldn't hook him up with one of your guards. Just hey, I sign you to go teach Hiruden. One of the 100+ guards. One of them. Come on. No. So Elbow has to be one of them, and if he is, then Loki killed him.
I was gonna say Elbow. What if he's the guy who trained Herald, the guy who trained Loki? What if Elbow even trained Goldie Roger and Shanks even?
I would argue that the better plight would be that this guy is Hiruden's beloved master, and because Hiruden had only seen his dad like once or twice in his life, this is the actual death he cared about when Loki slaughtered everyone at the castle. Elbow was one of those people, and surely Hiruden, who has only seen his dad at this point in the last 40 years probably 3 times, canonically like twice, but he's not allowed in the house. Maybe Hiruden's holding a grudge because Elbow died. Loki killed Elbow, and I think I want to give the Elbow prestige. I want him to be one of the King's Guard, like Vinland Saga, you know what I mean? Yeah. One of the prestigious fighters that, is a little bit rogue, and he's okay with not being in the castle.
Thorkel or Elbow? you guys tell us in the comments if you watch Vinland Saga.
Aslad, you know what I mean? That's what I want, bro.
Thor's in his prime. Who would win?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Thor's
kind of suffers from the Ace effect, where we know he's like super powerful, but unfortunately he just died so early we didn't really get a good gist of it.
Yeah, but there's also an angle too, because again, I'm not current. I think Vinland Saga ending, I think, or something.
Yeah, it should be ending very soon.
Yeah. So I'm not caught up with the manga. I want to watch the anime, so I've been sticking with that. No qualms here. Maybe I read it. Maybe I hear some of the hype of the Vinland Saga last few chapters, and I decide to pick it up. But point is that you could look at where Thor's gave up and say that at that point he was just maybe Aslad would take care of Thor somehow, you know what I mean? Like he would honor his word to a certain extent. Thor's understood that he would, which is a weird thing because obviously it wouldn't be good, but maybe there was some kind of lesson that Thor's realized he couldn't teach his son, and he needed to live the world without his protective shadow, right?
Yeah.
But that's obviously seeing past it, but even there, Thor's would be seen as a way better dad than Harold. Harold's hitting some peaks, bro. I can't even compare him to some of the bad dads we've listed. And the reality is he's a good guy, not like Judge, but he's hitting some terrible notes, unlike some of the other bad dads.
It's like Yasop, right? Yasop isn't like a bad dad. He's just not there.
Yeah, Yasop has the Yasop bad dad part comes from like there's a lot of angles to it, right? Like his wife told him to go and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, when you throw that angle in, it blunts that part of it. I think what makes Yasop continuously worse and less forgivable is the dialogue that Oda gives him post that, like,
the
film
whole, I'm
Red,
not ready to meet my son.
in there. Film Red, he gave it to another director, and the director thing is, you idiot or you jerk. That was his first words to Usopp. Like, bro, you obey. I'm not ready to see him as canon. You're a jerk is the first words apparently Oda wanted him to say. It's like Yasop gets the bad dad also because he's like not why does Oda could just give him the dragon ellipses? That would be better. That would honestly be better than what we've gotten from Yasop. So, you know, like, you know, you could cope for him leaving and 9 times, but you can't cope for him being like, I'm not ready yet. So this guy, someone needs to hit him. And then he has the audacity to criticize like Barto for words, right? Like you know what I mean? Like,
no,
Yasop needs to get hit, bro.
Oh man, funny times. So we go on a little bit more, and we hear about Gali Ra. What is Viz translated as?
Ooh, this is crazy.
Galela
band. That's what I read.
Oh, band. Galela band. Huh.
That's different.
Yeah. What did TCB say?
TCB said the Galera, the company. That one.
Yeah. The Galera Warhammer Company versus Galila Band. Which one do you guys like more?
No, it's not Galera. They didn't even give us that. They gave the Galela band. Yeah, like I'm interested because how does band Warhammer Company translate to band? How does that work? I
don't know. It's kind of like how Saul's attack goes from like what is it, like demon exorcism punch all the way to midterm slam. It's like, how did Viz get this? How did we get here?
Yeah, because Warhammer was additional in the context, but it also sounds sick. So I'm sorry guys, I'm biased. I like that Warhammer edition. But the other part is company, Galela Company. We have the Galela Company. It's just minus the Warhammer. So like naturally those, because that already exists in the story,
you can make that connection.
Yeah, and Galera, I understand that even from a TCB and fan translation side of it, they couldn't definitively just say outright Galela. They wrote Galera, and it's like it might refer to it. It's a little bit different. But to go Galela Band, hey, that's a few changes I don't know if I'm ready for. Is this now connecting it to Brooke now? Like, who is this?
You hear about it like, is it a band of musicians? Galileo.
Oh. The art. Where are we throwing Galileo into this? Socrates too? Is he there? Like, what's happening, bro?
Yeah, I'm not too
was
sure.
Aristotle the Capony?
I will admit, I was looking forward to seeing what Viz was gonna translate this as, and I'm not disappointed.
Oh wait, Viz gives us the come up here. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Oh shit.
Breaking news. Yarul goes in TCB. He goes, have you heard about the Galera Warhammer Company? And then Harold says they're that gruff troop of giant shipwrights that arm themselves with warhammers, right? So you got to give Viz a W because they did not flip the dialogue to match their previous translations like they did with the other one, right? With the Beehive full.
They stood strong.
Yeah, they stayed strong. Hammer wielding warriors, which, you know, I'm just gonna go out and say I don't know too many bands that wield hammers.
they're fiddling with their hammers like they're fucking instruments. Yeah,
like if Viz was more consistent, they would be saying the instrument wielding monstrosities, like something like that, right? Like the percussion warriors, something like the band gang, something. I don't know. You
Oh
know?
yeah, good job, Viz. You held back.
Yeah,
You
he
didn't
kept
use
it.
your ultimate ability.
The dialogue, no me.
Yeah, the retcon, no me.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, at least the English official readers still know that they wield hammers somehow. I'm glad that carried through.
Dude, that's so funny. So Viz puts it in quotation marks where it's like, yeah, they certainly existed. They traveled to distant shores and sent a letter back to Elbeth from afar. It said, quote, "We've all been taken prisoner."
Yo,
That's
that
so
is
fucking
crazy.
funny, dude. Oh, I mean, I get it, right? Like, TCB does the same thing. The final letter said they've all been captured, but it sounds like it could have been a grander letter, right? Like, oh, like that was the gist of the letter. They've been captured. But when you put in quotation marks, it sounds like that's all that was written, like, period. Literally, just you got a message. It just says, "We have been taken prisoner." The end. Like, that's so, I don't know why. It's such a minor change, but it's such a different perception. It's so funny.
Yeah. One thing to note is that TCB, they came into the stream, and I don't think FISO that information carried to the streams before, because Dax and I saw more dialogue talking about the timeline where I think originally the translation was saying I had received a letter, which meant Yarul personally it was addressed to him. But then TCB FISO said, while like in my stream updated it while I was streaming, saying the final letter said they'd all been captured, which doesn't necessarily mean that it was sent to Yarul. It was just that he was able to read it, maybe like a log, like Nolan's log or something like that. And Viz does keep that part consistent, which is that Yarul does not say that like it was a letter addressed to him personally. But it is funny because Viz makes the letter sound so silly.
Well, like, how would you even write that letter? Like, you're in the process of getting captured, like, oh, time to write my final goodbye. We've been captured.
Yeah. The final letter said they'd all been captured. See, what's also interesting is I had, the thing is with this group, jumping a little bit into it, it's like, yeah, the Galley Law shipwright company, but we also know the Galley Law that Tom was running also had the Ancient Shipwright Guild, which most likely is this same group. And that same group, they were able to pass on the Pluton blueprints to Tom, and also other directives of stories that very obviously stem from the Void Century because it's ancient weapon related, Pluton related. And so I was like, hey, they'd all been captured, meaning like the letter was sent by like some remnant or something, or someone who wasn't maybe captured or who maybe escaped even. Because the other interesting thing is like to be able to write a letter and send it out in anticipation of us being captured, because this almost seems like the world government, like, you got one call, you got one letter to send before we take you to the slammer, right? So this one makes it line up with my interpretation that there were remnants. Someone else was like, they were all captured, right? Versus the Viz translation, we've all been taken prisoner, and it's written as if like they were about to be put in Impel Down, or frozen at Punk House, or whatever it may be. And they're like, before your rights, let me read your Miranda rights. You got one letter, one.
Yeah, you got one letter. Make sure you write it well, guys.
Yeah, which one of you guys is illiterate? I heard Elbaf doesn't got schools yet. Like some shit like that,
God, dude, it's so good. So Harold says,
"This is so good." Yeah.
You think the world government did that? It's clear that we had a great enemy at some point down in the past, but all the history sunk out of the sea one day. My point is, your failure to win over the WG might not be your fault. And then Harold says, some ancient enmity, which is a aggro essentially. I've heard stories on the wind. Huh? I've heard stories on the wind.
Yeah, wait. The some ancient enmity also doesn't line up. I was like, that's not what happened. He said lingering animosity, huh? Which was in reference to what the world government, like the barricade, right? And then here he's saying some ancient enmity, so he's not talking about that he's not talking. He's talking about the Galila now. Like, wait, what? Wait, that's such a weird swap.
Strange line. It sounds cool. I'll admit it. You know, you don't see enmity come up in conversations that often anymore.
Yeah, but it changes what Harold's thinking about entirely. On one hand, the conversation's, my problem with the world government, lingering animosity. Versus this one, it's like, so they weren't a myth, some ancient enmity. Like, the focus is completely different now. Like,
yeah. You know, I will say this, though. Yarl changing, I've heard a rumor to, or not Yarl, Viz changing, I've heard a rumor to, I've heard stories on the wind. That sounds kind of cool, right?
Jigoro mention? Question mark?
Jigoro mention? Whoa!
Jigoro of the wind? Ooh.
It's about an army of giants put on ice and hidden somewhere. In any case, never forget that we have long been a threat to the rest of the world. And Harold says, I'm well aware of that.
Okay, like, I don't want to be the guy. The dialogue is crazy different. These are just rumors, but I also heard a story about a frozen army of giants somewhere. Okay, lines up, whatever the point. Winds of the thing. It seems our people are regarded as enemies of the larger world versus, in any case, never forget that we have long been a threat to the rest of the world. Like, it seems way more charged in the Viz because it's like, you know, the threat that they posed, it's like almost declaring it, whereas like in the TCB one, it's like the world saw us as a threat for some reason. We don't know why, but like in this one, it's like definitively like, yeah, can't you see why? And it's like, but the relative part, and I guess it kind of matches with the Galila thing because Harold thinks of them as a myth, but Yarul knows them as reality. So, but then that also lines up with another thing is like they don't necessarily know like what the Galila did, right? Because they don't know about the ancient weapon stuff, like at least from what we see here. So it is interesting given like that in case never forget. Oh, did it die? Wait, whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, your camera, it's just the giant plus sign. There you go, you're back.
Yeah, that was odd. It was up the entire time.
Damn. But yeah, no,
maybe I hit the right note.
The whole thing with, Vincent's trying to take you down. Fuck, he's speaking facts. Damn it. Yeah. It's a little bit odd. As far as like the Galila theories about this ancient band of musicians, this is the people that are frozen in Punk Hazard, right?
Hold on, I got stun lock. Okay, can we get back to this topic? Can you just read something about the next translation is crazy. It's just like it's lined up. It's just crazy. Do you see that? Oh, Prince Loki, killer of my beloved sister.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, with
it's
the heart
same,
emojis.
but it's like, I know you cursed and killed my little sister.
Brother.
But then to like be like killer of my beloved sister and shouting that across the castle is wild.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild.
Astrid's older brother, he might have been a part of the Watsky gang back in the past, brother. I don't know. Why add the heart emojis? Was that even necessary?
He knows. What's his face?
Trying to think.
Oh God, name. Hunter. What's the guy's name?
No. We're not gonna slander Hisoka here.
Yo, he's given.
We're not slandering Hisoka. He's the one character I like from Hunter x Hunter. We can't do this.
Yeah, but Astrid's older brother here. It says, oh no, the region is dead down in the underworld. We don't know if Loki killed him or he just died because Loki got too old.
Loki got too old, so this guy said, oh, you know what? I'm done. Oh, why am I going to live anymore? That's crazy.
Yeah. The heart started fading, you know what I mean? That you can look at it, it's like, where are the hearts? He's here. They started missing, you know? I don't know. Maybe he lost interest.
Maybe there's some correlation there with Loki's age. Yeah, no, the brother's just weird.
Yeah. But going back to we already agreed the Punk Hazards chapter 660, those frozen giants are that's them.
Yeah,
that's
very, very, very high chance. It might as well be. It's like one of those 99% things that we don't have to like talk too much about. Which I guess the main thing, we can kind of bounce off of it. Do you think they'll come back into the story then? Since they're pretty much still alive, right? They're not dead. They're not like stabbed or anything. They're just frozen.
It depends. I mean, the reality is Ors died to permafrost, right? So like that was Chopper's diagnosis, that like his autopsy said that he died from the cold. And so the giants, if they were from the Void Century, which again, I think now with the multiple translations, this is probably a letter that he had read, not personally received. But even regardless of that, you add this line that says all of that history was sunk under the sea one day, which is interesting because it was clear all of that history is very different than saying they sunk. However, they sunk deep into the ocean at a certain point in history, which is what Viz said. Viz goes, all of that history sunk under the sea one day. Yeah, interesting. But point is that we're talking about the ancient shipwrights connected to Pluton and most likely Noah. Those are Void Century things. The shipwrights, Void Century. He's saying they sunk. That's Void Century. So that, we push that to the Void Century. Now, separately, this rumor of the army of giants. The thing is, Moria found ores in the continent of ice, which we still don't know definitively what he was referring to, but we know that somehow he found ores, which sounds like it more or less connects to that. And it might be coincidental that the Galila that we saw is in ice. But regardless, because we see ores, an ancient giant, succumb to death due to permafrost, I think it's likely that those Galila members are dead. I know I saw people joking about like how like damn they got no diff by ice, like that means that they got no haki, like Garp is able to free himself from ice, so these giants are fodder, blah blah blah. But like I mean, we're looking at ores, and and I would more or less hone in on the part about the fact that Moria somehow found ores, period. That sounds like a crazy find on it in and of itself.
It's like a rare Pokemon.
So I wonder how he heard about it. It's likely that he heard the same rumors, and I wonder what these rumors are stemming from. Because did Moria also come to Elbaf and he heard the rumors here, or did he hear from Merijois? Like, did the Gorsei give Moria a tip? And the thing is, it could be that's the route because he procured ores. That was the last thing that independently he did before the arc that we got. He defrosted him while we were in the arc, and after succeedingly doing that, the world government wanted his fruit, which is kind of interesting timeline. But I wonder why Ors was positioned with a warlord, for example, not lost to history. How did he find him? Where did the rumors come from? It wouldn't just be the one person too. That'd be a world government agent having an ancient giant. We know the ire for ancient giants as being said here. And now we know Galila was also apparently with ancient giants locked up at Punk Hazard, a world government facility that had a lot of testing. And you and I separately had a lot of theories about how they got that DNA for the numbers. And we were like, oh, well, Harold still has his horn by now. And this is 40 years into his diplomacy. So the only thing left that he has is world government stuff. So, one way or the other, I'm sure we'll get some more information about those giants. The fact that Oda gave this teaser about the Galila here lends me to believe that maybe Harold finds out more of the truth in his flashback, because he does go to the Reverie again. Apparently, or not the Reverie, Merijois again. That's where he sees Shanks. So I wonder what else he finds out. Does he go to Punk Hazard? Does he meet Vegapunk? Those kinds of things. It is curious. To see what might come up with it.
For me, I'm kind of leaning towards the theory that maybe these guys are still alive. I think it'd be really cool if we're trying to wonder where's Vegapunk going. We thought that he might be going to Witheria. Could still be the case, but it would be nice if Vegapunk, in lieu of what's happening right now, he is going after the Galilrock company. He's going to go unthaw them so that they could help him and the Witheria scientists build skyships even, or build something to save humanity.
You mean the current ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's the other part where technically the Gale Law that we see in chapter 660.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I meant like the Punk Hazard Galley Law.
Okay. So yeah, that's what's interesting too, because like, does Vegapunk know who they are? Because they were in his lab and they were preserved by him. Because we saw Punk Hazard pre time skip, and it wasn't this frozen wasteland that was attributed to Kuzan. So the fact that they were inside Vegapunk's lab in a frozen chamber means that Vegapunk actively built either around them or for them to keep them on ice. And it's a questionable thing to see, like, why would he do that? Does he know who they are? What information did he get from them? Did they add to some of the stuff that we learned about in the message? Are they some of the sources outside of Ohara, for example? But the other reality is he may not know what they are either, and he just kept them because they thought that was interesting. But we don't necessarily know. We do know that Vegapunk has relations with Elbaf, many different ways, right? Like, he on his own spoke with Saul and the New Giant Pirates on Ohara, but he also came to Ohara, Elbaf himself. So I wonder what if there was a Galila that he was going towards, would he be going to the ancient ones or would he going to the current one?
I think he'd go to the ancient ones. I mean, maybe both.
Yeah.
I think there's a world where both come together.
Yeah. I like
and then
that.
Plus, the whole thing about like we need to take the ship to them to repair it. I think there's a good chance the Sea Kings were talking about these dudes. Which if Vegapunk frees them, I mean, maybe we'll finally get that meeting.
Yeah.
It would be kind of shocking though, getting frozen for all these years, then you're unthawed and you have to go to work right away.
Yeah, that I remember. I forgot what I said in response to that. I was like, bro, just let them die. Like, it's fine. Just let Frankie be the one to carry on the will. Just give up. Just stop.
Jesus.
There's no point.
We got better ones out here. We don't need you guys.
Yeah. It's time for the next generation.
These guys, they could have been the ones who built the Noah's Ark, Pluton, Uranus. Like, they could have built so much, man. I mean, maybe not just these guys, but like their ancestors, right? We don't know if like they were, like you said, we don't know the timeline of when they were frozen. It could have been during the Void Century, shortly after, or it could have been recent. And if it's recent, then yeah, we're talking about like descendants, right? Descendants of this clan, which I think would also be kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, to bring in another conversation too, is the dialogue they sunk under the sea type of thing, and the reality is that Noah is down there. Yeah. So to some extent, if they are associated with the Noah and they made it down Fishman Island, here's another interesting angle that can substantiate it, which I talk about heavily. The Noah and the ancient shipwrights and Pluton. There's a bunch of different theories on it, but not different theories, but a bunch of theories that give a lot of context, which is that if right now they are, because prior to this chapter, Pluton being built was an ancient shipwright guild. We didn't know that they were giants. Now, if we take the small logical leap that they are one in the same group, now we know that they are giants, and then the giants are now attributed to Pluton. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is that going into this arc and still to this arc, a lot of people are associating Elbaf with Uranus. Where is Uranus? And so if Loki's Uranus, which is a huge theory, then the giants also have the lineage for Uranus. And so, okay, if we have 2 for 3, then why not go for 3 for 3? And how would you apply that one? Well, the reality is that the Noah is a giant ship that went to Fishman Island, and Fishman Island more or less is like centralized around Noah because the prophecy / like the letter that Joy Boy gave was a apology about not being able to like use the Noah to save the island and et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. The royal family is Neptune, yes. And the Neptune, let's stay there, is giant, huge. And we can't attribute that to Fishman, and we can't attribute that to his fish, because his fish is the relicanth. It's that Pokemon, the stonefish, that real life stonefish. That's not, it's like this big. It's not that big. It's not huge that justifies Neptune size, where we see like other people are like giant octopuses or giant squids and they're huge or whatever, or great white sharks or whatever. No, he's a stonefish or whatever the real word is. And so why is he big? But more than that, is that Shirahoshi is supposed to be the reincarnation of the ancient weapon Poseidon, and she is also big, and she is a Japanese whiting fish, which is the smallest fish. It's literally like fodder fish that like is like something you put in your tank to like your fish tank to like, you know, feed other fish at that point. It's not big at all, but it is telling us that if she is the reincarnation of Poseidon, then Poseidon was also big too. So where did the bigness come from? And if we can say that the shipwrights were giants and ancient giants, and the shipwrights built Pluton and Noah, and the Noah is centralized for Fishman Island, then wouldn't it make sense if Pluton also stemmed from the giants as well? Not Pluton, Poseidon also stemmed from the giants lineage as well, and then it would tie everything up. All the ancient weapons came from the giant lineage, which also kind of is a little insinuated. Again, this is a more of a logical leap. We had talked about it on stream, which is that Vegapunk said that the ancient kingdom is responsible for the ancient weapons, all of them. And so why would they make them? Why would Joy Boy keep them? You know, that was the dialogue. But we know for a fact that the ancient shipwrights built Pluton. We know that from chapter 354, and we know that from like now associating the giants to that. So the other logical leap that you can make is that a large portion / most of the association of the ancient kingdom probably is the ancient giants and the shipwrights, because if they built Pluton, they most likely had a hand somehow with the other ancient weapons, which is something that Vegapunk was saying. Like this group is associated with all of it. So it might be that the ancient weapon stuff is all from the giants. Now the other question mark is that we know Joy Boy was not a giant, but we do know that Nika is a Elbathian legend. So what does that mean for Nika per se, right? Is he a giant? So like a lot of the stuff is stemming from giants and ancient giants. So we know that Joy Boy changes that a little bit, but we don't know to what extent. We don't know if the D clan is related to that stuff, but I do think it's those logical leaps aren't that crazy to make, and they're pretty important considering we've been many things being revealed in this chapter, and ancient weapon lore is something that
well welcomed.
is well welcomed, and Oda's randomly pushing. I didn't think we'd get Galila here, honestly.
Yeah. So we go on more, and we see that Loki unfortunately kills Estrid's older brother. He also kills the lucky horse. For the older brother, I think that makes sense.
They never said Loki did it, Sai. They said the lucky horse is dead.
Hey. That damn bastard. Yeah, he definitely did it.
I'm not ready for that logical leap, Sai. That's just fan fiction at that point, Sai. Come on.
I don't know why he killed the horse. I get the brother. Don't get me wrong. Killing the brother, this weird heart emoji old man that's like, you killed my sister. I'm gonna give you some. What does he say? Let's see what Ron Scraps. What Ron Scraps shall I feed you today? Yeah, he's an asshole. Kill him. But what did the horse do?
I like how you coped for him in the chat in the Parcast, and we flipped his dialogue a little bit. We were like, he goes, now let's see what kind of garbage we'll be serving up today. But we can't do it with the Viz because it says, shall I feed you today? We were like, oh, maybe him and Loki are out there poisoning homeless people.
Maybe Rotten Scraps is code word for delicious food.
Yeah,
you know, like for kids, you kind of joke around a little bit, like, oh, kid, you know, they love like pee-pee poo-poo jokes. Like maybe he's like, let's eat some poop today. And then it's like, I don't know.
Scat jokes.
Yeah. That's like a really nice chocolate lava cake. I don't know, man. Kids are
what
weird.
The fuck? Okay, we need it. This is a cut. That's crazy, bro.
I mean, there is a reality where this guy's good, right? Surely we can twist it. Like maybe,
but I think
the way he died was by saving Loki. Maybe Loki was getting abused by, I don't know, a guard, or maybe like an animal came into the castle and was trying to kill Loki. And then the regent, older brother, sacrificed his life for Loki. And in his dying breath, he says, Loki, I've always loved you like my own son. One day, I'll meet you in heaven. And then he smiles and he's like, he throws up the peace sign like Corazon. And he says, let's eat raw and scraps together again one day, son.
Chris Hansen, peace aside, Sai. I'm surprised. You know, how do you think the horse died? Because it almost like the thing is, the reality is, and they say this about serial killers all the time. I'm surprised the serial killer MO that Loki's building up isn't everyone dying by falling off the tree, right? Like that's Loki's,
like the Bay Harbor Butcher. Like, well, it's not a great example, but you know, like
start with the animals.
They have a way in which they kill people. Like, I'm surprised Loki just doesn't drop. Like, oh, you weakling, if you survive this, then the Elbaf gods are shining down on you. If you die, then you've been forsaken. And he just drops them from the Sun Realm. It'd be so cool.
Yeah. And going to, like, we know that a good sign for a serial killer potential is when kids start maiming and killing animals. You know, insects is separate with that. I don't think we're not like PETA. We don't put insects and like a dog in the same, like, you know, an ant and dog are different sentience.
I'm all about
most
killing
people, so.
spiders and insects. Yeah, get them out of here, dude.
Yeah. Not that Sai did that when he was a kid and did it horrifically or anything like that. That's just hypothetical. Dude. Okay, I'm trying to.
I used to like.
How am I? Your Honor, my defendant is tanking the.
I don't have to bring up the crawfish story again, but I used to like tear off their limbs one by one and just let them.
Your Honor,
sit
can we gag the client, please? I order a gag order on my own client. This is crazy. He's sabotaging
Larry, man.
Dude,
I gave you names too.
Do you think? Do you think that the horse also died by same measure? Or did he realize how messy it was to be so personally involved? So he decided to change up.
I don't know. I feel like Loki ripped the legs off the horse.
Okay, and no, the head. Let's go with the head. You want to know why?
Why?
Day one, Loki decapitated a bear. This Loki, his MO is the
decapitation.
Okay, now. Stick with me, okay.
Oh, he should have been an eye serial killer, like he gouges out your eyes. Ooh.
That would have been but the thing is, okay, but then they know who did it. The MO leads us to who's gouging out eyes.
Okay, to be fair, they all know this is Loki anyways. It's not like it's a mystery.
No, well,
they call this shit Loki's curse, bro.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? When they named all the crazy thing that like tied us to Loki's nefarious nature, they did not even mention Estrid's brother. Like we killed his guardian, his caretaker. Like they didn't say that shit. They didn't give a flying shit. Oda doesn't even care. We don't know his name. He's just Estrid's older brother, the regent, we know his name. The steward. What's the name?
Farfa.
I thought you said it was Frank. No, I said it was Frank. No, did you say it was Frank?
I didn't say Frank.
Okay, I said it's Frank. But do you think? Okay, so here I'm surprised you didn't hone in on this because this is my greatest op. This line right here. I'm of the believer. See, they said the regent is dead down in the underworld, but Sai, we know every single time someone has fallen from the tree, they have not died. So I think that they know that he's dead is because he was decapitated. Loki's. As he did, the pattern plays out, and this is the reason why he had to do that is because he knows himself. This is a survivable fall, survivable height.
That's Par's going with this headcanon again. Okay.
Look, listen, come on. He didn't push the horse off the thing because he knew.
We don't know for sure.
It's a survivable height. And you know how he knows he does it himself. He jumps. He goes, I survived.
He should have just said it's a miracle I survived.
Yeah. That's all you needed, Sai. No, he goes, no, it's completely reasonable. I survived.
I mean, I'm not expecting a kid to drop all that dialogue. So we see that Harold, we're now 40 years in the past. Harold has officially built a bunch of branch routes in Elbaf, making trade a lot easier. He's also still, going on diplomatic missions. And of course, we already heard about this, but every time Harold leaves the country, Loki goes on a rampage. I kind of see this like as a cry for help. Loki's like, hey, daddy's not home. I need him to come back home. So let me just destroy some buildings so he comes back. Obviously, he doesn't say that. Loki doesn't say much. You can kind of just infer it. Or you can even infer that, this is just him not being able to stop his dad. Or maybe this is him even being, spiteful that his dad leaves without him. A lot of ways you could look at it. But either way, Loki attacks everybody, releases the animals. He fights Higurashi. Higurashi obviously does not stand a chance. And then Higurashi
no one stands a chance.
Yeah, nobody stands a chance. Higurashi's friends rush over to help him. And you can tell Loki feels really bitter about that one. The insults start piling on harder and harder, and you can tell, the way Oda shades faces, you can tell, like, in that panel where Hiruden's friends rush over, Loki's very sad. Just like, oh, man, I wish, probably wishing he had his own friends on his side. He goes on a little bit more, he fights some more villagers, and then he sees a mom protecting her child, and that's when Loki, he peaks. And he jumps off the Sun Realm. He injures himself, and that's when we get that scene where he says, I can't even die. And we go on. We now have the final page. But Loki sees a mountain get split in half. We hear a dun, dun, dun. I'm assuming that's just footsteps. And we see four shadows
that's some crazy
approach.
Gas. Islands, a mountain split in half. It just got the top shaved off, bro. It got a haircut. Split in half is a feat we can only give as Hawk. Okay. All right. Don Chinjao was split in continents in half. This not split in half. I don't know, Sai. That's some crazy agenda glaze you got going on there.
Walk up to him, and
who could possibly be revealed afterwards that would garner such glaze, huh?
It's him, dude. The Golden Lion. The Golden Lion. He says, this one looks positively demonic. And then we got Whitebeard saying, it seems he's too big even for a giant. Is he crying? Like, dude, the aura that these guys carry. People call Shiki and Whitebeard the wings of the Pirate King. Or, the wings of rocks. I can kind of see it. Yeah, sure.
I mean, hey, I had that, they're the wings take you, they guide you, or they carry you in some instances, So, I've always put them lock and step with rocks. But Whitebeard's such a fellow, bro.
Zoro, man.
He goes, it seems too big even for a giant. That's rich coming from Whitebeard.
Yeah, a guy who's too big to be human. Which, hey, if you had to compare them, would Shiki be Zoro or Sanji? Like, I don't know, like, appearance-wise, I'd say Sanji, but at the same time, like, Katana's,
the guy who fights with his feet? Oh, technically, Shiki doesn't fight with his feet yet. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's not till later. And even then, like, Shiki fights with, like, his devil fruit, too.
Yeah, but
summoning giant lions and tigers.
Like, he wasn't out here going, he wasn't doing that shit,
He wasn't doing that, but he was, like, summoning, like, float monsters.
He just was tap. He was kind of gentle with. He was gentle palming. He was a Hyuga. Oh my god, we might not just time to Wano. We might time to the Elite Village too.
Prime Shiki was a swordsman, two-sword style.
Yeah, dude, he had it everything. That's crazy. Prime Shiki,
He's not even mix of Zoro and Sanji.
He's two-leg style too.
Yeah. I don't know who he relates to. And then Whitebeard, the world's strongest man. I'm assuming that's Zoro. I just don't know. I mean, I guess it's like, cursed to kind of compare the two, right? They're so different. But still.
I think what it is that you take, how like Sanji and Zoro, they have certain values that puts them over the other, and it's tit for tat to a little bit. So what you do is you take all the positive from both of them, Zoro and Sanji, that's Whitebeard, and you take the loser aspects of both of them and you put that in Shiki. Because Shiki is such a like loser of the Rocks pirates that like his entire movie is losing to pre-time skip Luffy as a Rocks pirate. Like, it's so sad. And Oda's come out and said that he had an overpowered devil fruit, and he still lost to pre-time skip Luffy, pre-haki Luffy. Rocks pirate, not my Rocks pirates. My Rocks pirates are top 5 in the verse. You know what I'm saying? Big Mom, Kaido, Whitebeard. Is Shiki in that list? I don't know, bro. He's kind of the lame parts of the wings. Whitebeard be carrying with the strongest man in the universe type of title.
I put Shiki up there. I give Shiki his respect.
He wasn't in Kaido's top 5, is all I'm saying.
It's one of those things, if Shiki was born in a different era, he'd be a monster.
You know how crazy it to be Kaido, an apprentice, and there's the big 3: Shiki, Whitebeard, Rocks, and Kaido does not mention Shiki in the manga. In the anime, I think they added Garp and Shiki. I think. I forget. I know they added Garp. I forget if they added Shiki. But yeah, in the anime when they showed like a instead of doing like one by one, they did like a blow by, and then they showed Garp in that sequence too. It was kind of
Did
interesting.
they really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they added Garp into that. Like, it wasn't the top 5 like Mount Rushmore thing. It was like a line later, like these are the only people that can whatever. There, it was like a whoosh, 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 like a
I don't
all
remember
like
that.
these strong people. Yeah.
Hang.
Yeah.
No, shout outs. I didn't know Garp got that. But yeah, so we see Rocks D Xebec, and the narrator goes on, and they say, this man, whom Harold had met at the Reverie 8 years earlier, he killed a Navy headquarters admiral and fled. And now the world government has placed a hefty bounty on his head. And then we see the reveal of Rocks D Xebec, future captain of the Rocks Pirates, father of Blackbeard, brother. It's a crazy reveal.
Yeah.
First up, I guess we should just tackle this bit by bit. Why does Rocks D Xebec want to see Harold after 8 years? After all this time?
My instinct, which I felt is chapter centric, is that the main thing here that's revealed is that he's not a pirate yet, as far as what we can see from this wordage.
Yeah.
Because if he was a pirate, then they would just say that he's a pirate of whatever crew, but they're saying future captain of the Rocks Pirates, which insinuates to me that now he's not that. Now, is he in line with how a pirate act? Yeah, sure, whatever. But his occupation may not be that of a pirate. And the other adding on point, I mentioned this before, is that this era is not the same era we're in, because a pirate in our timeline, in our story, is someone who's more or less trying to be the Pirate King, trying to go after the One Piece. The irony is there's no Pirate King, and there is no One Piece in this world. In this world that we're reading in this flashback, the One Piece has not been named. It's not something people chase after. It's not something people dream of. It's nothing like that. There's no Treasure of Roger yet. This is many years before that's ever revealed. So, we get into a line of where it's like Clover or Noland, who were claimed as adventurers, right? Like some of the things, like Clover was still captured 17 times, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's still an adventurer. But the thing is, if that's the case, then it's because he probably wasn't a pirate looking for the One Piece, and he wasn't declaring himself a pirate because he was just committing crimes. He was just, as I mentioned before, in this world. And in our current world, it is illegal. If you're not the world government, you cannot sail on the ocean. So if you're doing that and you're not affiliated, you are a criminal. So that's where Rocks is probably placed. And so I'm adding that because, as far as why he's here, Harold in this chapter said he reached out to all of his allies to help subsidize essentially the ebb and flow of Elbaf's like struggles. What can he offload? What can he trade? And my thinking is that Rocks is someone who has a substantial pull in the world, given probably his strength. His reputation's obvious, but then, I have a theory that I won't talk about just yet, but the reality is that like, this is someone who was at the Reverie too. So like he had to have some kind of legitimacy, unless he went there also like as a criminal, like he was like a Fisher Tiger entity going there. But, he single-handed. Oh, well, actually, wait, does Viz say single-handedly? No, it doesn't say single-handedly. So that's a, slight change there. But when you look at like what Whitebeard ended up doing with his Yonko crew, he was helping poor nations around the thing, place islands that couldn't afford the Heavenly Tribute. He was using his pirate money to help them survive and thrive. And like there has to be a reason why all these pirates banded under, or future Yonkos and future world pillars ended up aligning underneath Rocks. And the thing is, like Big Mom had a huge care of feeding everybody, wanting to like have so much food, and that was the pull to living with her. People would live happily. I mean, you and I had even talked about it. Like I would give up lifespan to be protected by Big Mom and eat it whatever I want without any fear. That's a good W right there. With Whitebeard, if you're underneath one of his bannered islands, you were protected to the point that the moment he died, it was on site for so many places. And so when it comes to like the Yonko and what they were doing, Kaido's an interesting exception. We don't know necessarily what Shiki's full plan was. He did like oppress and occupy like a village, but point is that when it comes to Rocks, this is pre-pirate. He was someone who went to the Reverie, and Harold was just asking for help from international people. So I'm inclined to think that he was here to help the Elbaf people. Maybe not fairly could be a nefarious thing, but now to add where my theory part that constantly gets misconstrued is that I was saying that 2 years ago I said Rocks could be a Buggy-like character, and what that meant that the operation that Buggy was running. Buggy is running a underworld, under black market operation, the Buggy's delivery service, and even before that, he was running Buggy's delivery service, now Cross Guild, and he was running that. And when you think about how interconnected he would be for that, it's like Doflamingo. Doflamingo was doing all that, and Buggy inherited basically all that from what Doflamingo's empire crashing down. And so, is Harold that level of a person where he's basically like the leader of the underworld? And the other part is if we were to go back to Doflamingo, that's what Doflamingo did. He went to other places, other kings went to his nation to trade. Essentially, he had an entire underworld trade in his thing, and Hachinosu is that. We know that Hachinosu is that. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Herald and why he's here, or not Herald, Rocks and why he's here. It's because he's some kind of underworld leader, not too dissimilar from where Buggy's at, in the place of the world where Buggy's currently at, and he has enough pull where he's also the reigning leader of Hachinosu, which ties to the Blackbeard, his son, and he's probably a friend of Harold that Harold met prior,
Yeah. And even if they're not friends, there's a good chance that Rock simply saw Harold and was like, hey, I'm gonna do a pirate crew pretty soon. I need power. This guy's got power.
Yeah. And that would line up with Buggy's delivery service too, because the notoriety that Buggy got from the time skip or Marineford, his S-tier agents, mercenaries, were none other than the new giant pirates and the crown, or the first to the throne, Hyrudin. So is that ironic that then Rocks, would essentially be here asking for power, asking for giant mercenaries as well, similar to Buggy's delivery service, but also having an interaction with another prince, if not both the princes. But Rocks could very well be, and actually we kind of know that Loki's like, hey, can I go with you, or something like that, right? And then the response was he got stabbed in the back and denied entry. But who's to say that Rocks didn't walk away with other giants in a mercenary capacity, right?
Yeah, that could happen. We don't really know why he's here. I mean, we could even have a whole thing where Rocks came here for the legendary devil fruit.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of nuts. Hey, I heard Elbaf has something special here. I need it.
Which as far as taking this bit by bit, you came into this glazing, and so you just trying to slide by it, right? You were glazing Shiki. That's crazy. You're not going to give this feat to Rocks? How many people are thinking that this is Rocks?
The Mountain Destroyer?
Opi no Mi, and the 2 fingers is tacked, for example.
Yeah,
how dare you, Sai, take away feats from Rocks' debut?
I don't see it. I mean, we just have the whole thing with the 2 questions. I can see why people are making the theory about the Opi no Mi. I just don't think that's the case.
Yeah. The eliminations in my mind It cannot be the Opi Opi no Mi. It cannot be the Chop Chop no Mi. That one's the least of the three, and the last one it can't be is the Yami Yami no Mi. Those three are absolutely. That would be so silly if Rocks had either of those, because, or any of those, because taking the Chop Chop one, the least convincing one in my opinion, but I think a lot of other people agree, which is that if Rocks had the Chop Chop fruit and Buggy, who's someone that like literally caught Whitebeard's eye at Marineford, at no point would Whitebeard go, hey, that's my captain's fruit, or anybody on the enemy team like, oh my god, not only is his apprentice on or Roger ex crewmate, he has D-Rock, like Sengoku or Garp could have been thinking that in their head, but no. So like, you know, that was pre-time skip, whatever. You guys, if people want to cope for that, I'm not. But you go to the Yami Yami. That one would be insane. If
that
Whitebeard, that one is like if Whitebeard sees Blackbeard with the thing, you know what I mean? And he's like, that's my captain's fruit. You know, like him not registering like what happened at Marineford, but also not bringing the association that Blackbeard is Rox's son. Like that needs to be defined on that route. Because if he has the Yami Yami no Mi and also looks like the spitting image of his captain, then Whitebeard had to be lobotomized. You can't give him the Yami Yami and then also cope with Whitebeard not like bringing up the fact that this is my captain's son on the crew, when in tangent we're talking about Roger's son the entire time. At one point it would be mentionable. It's silly, but the Opi Opi is probably the least forgivable one, because Kaido and Big Mom just fought Law and they were both discussing how annoying his fruit was. So for them to not ever mention like, oh my god, it's like Rocks all over again, this is so obnoxious. And and then they're like, wait a second, Law's nowhere near as strong as Rocks. Rocks was insane with this fruit, right? But then you'd also have to add on that would mean that Rocks is the legendary doctor that they talked about the previous user, that the Opi Opi. And I'm like, I didn't know he was Dr. Rocks D Xebec.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like so the Opi Opi no Mi is absolutely out for my opinion, because we're talking about recent dialogue that wouldn't make sense. We're not talking about Marineford. We're talking about literally Onigashima would make no sense if they were fighting Rox's power while talking about Rocks and not bringing it up. That'd be insane. And then, you know, sure.
It could be one of those things where like we get like Wano 2.0 and we see it from Kaido's POV and he's like, oh my god, it's Rox's power.
yeah. We get One Piece Kaido edition, and it's just him speaking like about Law and everything about it, annotating all of the world events
with Buggy. Like maybe Whitebeard, you know, we see his ghost or something. He's like, oh yeah, Buggy, I like him. You know, he just really needs to just lock in, use his devil fruit better. I don't know. Like I said, I think the Yami Yami makes the most sense just because like the fact that Blackbeard was after it so hard. But
yeah,
I feel like as far as like characters not talking about it, that could just be like a thing where they kept it to themselves and we haven't seen it yet. But now that we have the reveal, it's like, yeah, now they're going to mention it. Because Oda probably wanted to keep it hidden. You know, that's me coping, but, you know, Oda probably wanted to keep it hidden that, you know, Rocks and Blackbeard had that type of connection.
Yeah. And that's where it's like, that's what I was saying. The Yami Yami is like, there would be other things to explain, but the part that probably would be less forgivable is like there was conversations with Akainu and Fujitora, like literally don't talk about Rocks like he's a legend. And it's like there was very relevant conversation about like Yonkos and stuff like that. And it's like if Blackbeard had Rocks' power, that's like a relevant thing to be like, Rocks wasn't a legend. His power still lives today in Blackbeard, which again, it's not just Whitebeard that should be pointing this out. It should be everybody who knew of Rocks personally. Everybody who's older than the age of 38 that was in the Marines, and Sengoku is like, oh, you young folk don't know it, but like, yeah, like the older people 100% know it. And it's like, you put their wanted posters next to each other and tell me they're not related. It's like Akainu, Sengoku, Garp. They all had to have known that Blackbeard is related to Rocks. Like, that's just a silly.
Yeah, you would think that he'd be like the #1 priority. But I mean, it's like one of those things like, oh, Luffy has the D. Shouldn't he be like priority #1 day one? It's like you kind of like suspend disbelief.
Imagine the wanted poster for Rocks was also silhouetted.
Yeah, nobody knew what he looked like.
Yeah, because he vanished without a trace. That's another line here, right? Is that what they said? Oh, no, it didn't say that. In the Viz, it says, killed a Navy headquarter animal and fled. He ran with his tail tucked. That's what they said. They said fled. Whereas
they did say fled.
Said he vanished without a trace. That's way more... That sounds way better.
To be fair, though, Viz got the Sandman blessing with this one. Apparently, Rocks did flee. And he did not beat an admiral single-handedly, according to the Japanese Raws.
I've been saying that. I'm gonna drive that one home. I mean,
they just got rid of the word single-handedly. I mean, it could still been like single-handedly, but we don't have that distinction in Japanese.
Yeah, but
I got perspective. As a man who believes that Rocks D Xebec is an absolute fraud and can't fight, this is a great day for him. It's a great day for Rocks D Xebec haters.
Well, I mean, hey, the single-handedly, and again, I'm not a hater of Rocks. I am.
You just
validated.
don't believe in him.
No, there's the. You told me once upon a time. You told me, you just gotta double down, and here I'm gonna triple down because I already doubled down. I'm tripling down. The Rocks being a fraud of God Valley is 100% true. It's 100% accurate. There's nothing to combat that at this point. It's 100% factual.
Who just doesn't back down no matter what.
Chapter 957, that Rocks that was coming here, the force of evil that was running rampage of God Valley, that's a fraud. That's not Rocks. We know canonically that's not what happened. The force of evil was the Celestial Dragons who was running a rampage and robbed Rocks, and Rocks was just getting his own stuff. If someone robbed you, Sai, I would not call you a monster for going back and trying to get your PS5. Like, that's crazy. I don't know what your crown jewel might be. If it's your cat, if it's your Syvduck, if it's your wife. I don't know what the crown jewel was. All I know is that you're justified if you knew who had it and you were strong enough to go and get it yourself. You're not a villain. You're not a monster. The people who are the monsters, the guy who robbed you. I'm not a victim blamer. If you don't think that Rocks was a fraud of God Valley, then you're just a victim blamer. Rocks was a victim of that situation. 100%. No part of chapter 957 is like accurate. To a certain extent, they acknowledge that it wasn't accurate because they told us that Roger was omitted from the stories anyways, right? And then who was omitted? The Holy Knights, Garling. So it's like, man, that shit's not even close to being, debatable. Rocks being a fraud of God Valley is 100% true. Now, the problem is that a fraud, like a world government, like their declared people being fraudulent, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably a good thing that the world government's lying about you. That means you're doing something good. And so that, that I'm still there. And it's like, he's the one of one who is attributed to killing an admiral. Canonically in the story, Rocks is one of one for that, right?
He is.
Now, single-handedly is could be embellishment. We don't necessarily know, but the thing is, it's like, yeah, Rocks is, like, he looks like that guy. He is that guy. He's super strong. There's nothing wrong with that. But the world government's the part that creates the fraudulent, most of this stuff. The Gorosei came out looking super fraudulent, but that's a whole separate issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Rocks can't fight for anything, man.
Hey,
who knows?
Listen,
maybe he paid this guy to kill himself, the admiral.
Hey, look. I think Rocks is strong. Now, Oda's the one who said that he fled. But if you guys don't think that Rocks is the type to run away from a situation, then I think you'd be more inclined to being receptive of what I think. I think that just like The Last Reverie, that had the very same headlines, that Rocks was probably blamed for the Admiral's death, just like he was blamed for God Valley. The entire story is vilifying Rocks. Why would it change here? Why would it change here? It's the same story. Sabo killed Cobra? No, he didn't. We know how Cobra died, but they had to put it on Sabo. So if an admiral dies at the reverie, am I thinking that Rocks did it, or is there other shenanigans? Well, let's look at the news that came from the reverie. This last one, every one of them was skewed in some way, either the truth not being fully represented or flat out being framed. Like straight up, Sabo got framed. And where I'm at with it is that, like Sabo got framed, that benefited him. Sabo literally accepted that framage, and it was like, yo, feel bad about Cobra, but whatever it takes to fan the fuels to rebellion. And that's probably what happened. You know, the bigger question that everyone had, why would Whitebeard and Shiki, all these strong people, why would they band together behind Rocks? Well, if he had the reputation that he killed an admiral, that's more than enough reputation. We saw that time and time again. That's literally what happened to Buggy. He got the credit for a lot of Impel Down and Marineford, and then thereafter, he got a bunch of mercenaries to the level of Hyrden, the giants, the new giant pirates. Like, he got insane clout from that. And it's not just that either. It's like the reputation that, you know, Luffy garnered, where Luffy's pre-time skip storyline, it lines up with how Sengoku described Rocks, like waging war on the world government and stuff like that. And you can see how Luffy's reputation carried himself with Tomorrow Black, in the sense that all Tomorrow Black said, yo, I'm Luffy. And then all these 100 berry bounty plus people surrounded him, all these strong people. And the reality was, if it was pre-time skip Luffy, they might be a threat to him, but it was post-time skip Luffy. So it's a completely different ballpark. But, you know, the point is that it's lining up to be very similar to a lot of the story that we've already had, that like Rocks has been abused by the story. And as far as the villain that the world government is painting out, that villain is a fraud. That's not saying Rocks is, but the person they're trying to make him to be may not be the case, because they said that he was attacking innocent people, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I saw on screen that the Celestial Dragon, the world government, was attacking the innocent people. I saw a guy who got robbed, and he was just getting his stuff back. From all we know is that Rocks and Roger and Garp were on a team against the Holy Knights. But, you know, and Garp unwillingly got the credit, just like how we've seen previously in the story with like Smoker. It all fits, you know? It all fits.
That's you're like a gymnast, a contortionist, really. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I gotta respect a guy that's like, you know, there's a character in Akagi that I really enjoy. His name's Washizu. He's like the main villain. They call him a rat, a crazy old rat. And
wait, what's this from?
It's an anime called Akagi. It's a mahjong anime. And they talk about how, like, yeah, you know, he seems demented. He seems like a crazy old coot, a little bit off his rocker. You know, when you peel back the mask of Washizu, it's just a crazy rat. But then you're like, but would that even make sense? Like, when he's backed into a corner, like, is this really the guy that rose to 100K subs? Just a crazy rat? You? No, there's got to be something more to it. There's got to be something more to this guy. And here it is.
An older man who has made hundreds of billions of yen and became one of the most powerful people in the underground world. Damn, the wiki loves this guy.
Oh yeah, he's like the focal point of the entire series. And yeah, you remind me of Washizu. Just
I like being called the main character.
When you're backed into a corner, you don't back down. You triple down. Rocks D Xebec is fraudulent. You're dying on that hill.
Hey, listen. You know, I think I had 2 titles for this video. I told you I was that's why I'm a little bit more prepared than normal. I got some of it scripted already, but
yeah,
you know, with the Rocks thing, you know, all I'm trying to say is the man you read in the headline may not be the man that we get presented here. You know, could he be that guy? Sure. But how many times has the world government made Luffy out to be this 6 foot tall ape monster, blah, 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 that the world ends up believing? Hey, we saw that canonically, you know? I wonder how much they skewed Rock's story. And, some I don't like judging a book by its cover, you know?
I always
He
do.
may look like Blackbeard, but like I've been saying in that video, like I got, I said I hypothesize, I theorized that Big News Morgans was probably the person who covered God Valley, and it made a few postulations based off that, and that ended up being true. I postulated that it couldn't possibly be the equation be Rocks, Roger, and Garp. There had to be more to it, more people involved. And hey, if you guys want to ignore Shamrock, Garling, that's on you. I'm not the type to ignore one of the strongest characters in the series. Now, when it comes to the Blackbeard father thing, that's another thing that people trying to fight me on. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I that's what other people with the buggy, the split face thing. I saw some of the images Dax was showing me. I said it earlier too. There could be other reasons why certain characters look like other characters, like Ace in A Good Timeline looks like Shanks. Are Shanks and Ace related? No. But is Ace in A Good Timeline looking like Shanks according to Oda because Shanks was raised by Ace's dad and that was how it was intended to be? I don't know. But what I do know is that just like Ace and Roger, the one to carry the will is Luffy. And Luffy, we know, is not related to Roger. And so just like I was saying in my previous video, Blackbeard's here. I always knew everyone, you'd have to be crazy to say there's no association of Blackbeard with Rocks prior to this chapter. But now, just like Ace, Rocks' his son, Blackbeard, but he may not be the person that carries the will. That person might be the person that mirrors Luffy time and time again, Buggy. And so, everything on that video still continues on. It's still alive. It's still, fitting in just like a glove. Not O.J. Simpson's glove, but like a glove, a very nice glove.
That is respectable. Like I said, a guy that doesn't back down. Par, I don't know if you guys tune into the Parcast at all, but, Par also would not destroy a group of like extraterrestrial aliens because his consciousness just won't let him. And I'm like, that's crazy,
the 50-50.
Man. Oh, yeah, the 50-50. Yeah, and the 50-50, we talked about that. And Par, he just doesn't compromise. This is a guy that when he draws a line in the sand, he won't do it. Par's the kind of guy that you'd really hate if you were trying to buy a bunch of land. Like, oh, yeah, I want to build some apartment buildings over here and, give housing to the poor. And Par's like, no, I set my foot down here already. You're not getting anywhere close to me, bucko. That's Par. And I like it.
I famously am
that's
like,
good.
This land was promised to me 3,000 years ago, famously.
Yeah, something like that. So,
something like
on
that.
the Blackbeard angle, they look damn near identical. What is up with Blackbeard now? Is Blackbeard trying to copy his dad? Did Rocks put his will into Blackbeard? How does Blackbeard even know this much about Rocks D Xebec even? So much to where he had to hide his name at an early age and change it to Marshall. Does he just love his mom that much? Did he know that his dad was, his name would bring bad blood? And then even then, it's like, is Blackbeard going on the revenge tour? Because people are saying that, that was already a thing well before this connection, but the whole idea that Blackbeard is going down, fighting Rock's crewmate members like Whitebeard, for example, Wang Ji being another one. And then, hell, if Kaido and Big Mom come back, they gotta watch their backs because Rock's, the second coming of him is around the corner. So what is going on with Blackbeard? Why does he idolize his father so much, despite dying while Blackbeard was 2 years old? I think people have to keep that in mind. Like, Rocks wasn't exactly, I don't think he was like a loving dad per se.
It's better than Harold, most likely.
Yeah, but the thing with Rocks is he was still a pirate around that time. So what's going on here? Also, people are saying that maybe Blackbeard was the treasure of Hachinosu. But if that's the case, how did Blackbeard end up at Shadeport afterwards, right? So there's a lot of oddities surrounding these two characters, but where do you fall on this? How does the Blackbeard relationship go with Rocks D Xebec?
Yeah, I mean, he was 2. We don't. I think like the main extrapolation I got from this chapter was that the special body thing that Saturn was alluding to, because now we know that Rocks is dead. It would be silly if it's like, oh, he has special lineage and it was just Rocks, right? Because like you don't need to be a rocket scientist at that point. Like if you had seen Rocks in Blackbeard's faces, it's like, aha, you figured it out. You're
You
so
did it, huh?
how did, yeah, those those meddling kids, how do they do it? You know what I mean? And all they did was just look at 2 wanted posters and they put 2 and 2 together. And then once Blackbeard goes, my ship is called the Saber of Xebec, which is the guy's name, you start like clocking things more than like, room temperature IQ person could. So the point being that like, I think that Saturn conversation might be alluding to the mom side, and that mom side is significant, I think, for what the arc we're in, where we're constantly emphasizing the ancient giant lineage, and not even just the documented physical differences. The ancient giants are triple like a normal giant. Their horns, all that stuff. And then Loki has like an unheard of eye thing that most likely is connected to his ancient giant lineage. And so it's like it could be that maybe Rocks found Blackbeard's mom here. Maybe like this is like he gets an ancient giant. I was laughing. I was like, maybe it's Estrid's younger sister. But
And
nothing
it's
too
also
heavily
kind of
on
strange because we know that Blackbeard's mom and sisters were teased in a Secret Pieces data book as well. And we don't know if that's gonna be like canon or if that's like now scrapped because of this. So
right.
it's a little
and
bit
then
strange.
As far as the Hachinosu crown jewel being Blackbeard, I also, that's a reasonable thing. But then you go back to the God Valley conversation that the Rocks Pirates had, and it just doesn't make sense because of what they say. Like, I assume it's Finders Keeper. They'll be mine. Well, that's a Blackbeard theory. They
God.
versus he. Why did your big mom say that? Is it because they are more than one person? Did they know? Is that why it's the treasure? Like, that's my treasure. It's like weird. Why would what is this competition? They're like, whoever gets our captain's son adopts him. Like, what is the thing? And like, it does seem that they're focused on the crown jewel, but we know that the devil fruits and other stuff were also like something that Ginny leaked about God Valley, and we know that there was a certain like focal point there, considering Kaido's fruit was one of those fruits. But the main thing, it's like that. Let's just steal what we're after and scram. It seems like there's a focal point, like whatever rocks the crown jewel. That's what they were all talking about. So for it to be Blackbeard is a little odd in that sense. But you can't do anything with them, Lynlin. Like that's Kaido saying that to Big Mom. That's a crazy. What did Big Mom want to do to them? Like if it was Blackbeard, like maybe this was the good timeline where Blackbeard wasn't abused by Big Mom. Like I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there'd be a Blackbeard Lynlin kid running around.
That'd be a strong kid.
Yeah. So, yeah, that like as far as that stuff goes, like I don't know too much about like Blackbeard, Hachinosu, Crown Jewel. But yeah, this chapter is wild.
And then I'm excited for the Garp conversation now too. Like imagine Blackbeard goes down to that basement and he's like, "Hey Garp, about my dad. Can you tell me more about God Valley? Also, like, do you think Blackbeard knows all about God's Valley then?"
I see that's where because like the other part of that conversation is, does Blackbeard even know about rocks like that? Like he might know of like Xebec, like
the legacy, the legend.
Yeah, like it's not like it'd be kind of like Luffy Shanks, I guess. Like Luffy knows of Shanks, but he's like just knows of him from the time that they spent together, which wasn't that much time. But like as far as how Shanks is to the world, it's a little bit different, right? So like maybe in a light where like Blackbeard is, it could be that Blackbeard's like Ace. I've been thinking about that, where it's like Ace unironically resembled Roger, but also like the path that he was following is very interesting because you know, taking the Ace novel into consideration a little bit, it's like Roger was the Pirate King and Ace like knew that, and he wanted to be a great pirate, but he didn't want to be Pirate King, and he wanted Whitebeard to be the Pirate King. He wanted his like pops, his dad, to be the Pirate King. And to a certain extent, like Blackbeard's an interesting slot there too, because he also has had a line to Whitebeard too. He's like, I thought you'd be whatever, but then you just got old or something like that. You didn't do anything with it or something like that. He said something like you got complacent, essentially. And so like maybe there's like respect, but also like my dad failed type of thing. Like maybe it's not necessarily a redemption thing, but like proving I'm better. I don't know. Or maybe it could be the opposite of Ace, where Ace was like fine with his dad's name being smothered and demonized, whereas Blackbeard might want his dad's name to be known around the world because it's been hidden, obscured by the world. It could be something like that too. I don't necessarily know, or like it's kind of interesting to see or think about what kind of relationship Rocks and Blackbeard had and what information Blackbeard could have gotten from it. Because what was his relationship with like the Rocks pirates? The most they would have had him was by 2, but then God Valley they broke up, so then it's like he didn't really know Kaido and Big Mom, right? Like, so did he know Shiki? Because Whitebeard didn't know him. Whitebeard absolutely did not know him, because Whitebeard, when he had him on the crew, it like, unless he was making that face and like thinking like, oh, I don't want this kid on my crew because he's my captain's kid, like that's a weird interaction. And we're talking about, you know, where we're thinking like, is Whitebeard the right hand man of Rocks? Like that's a wild thing, you know. So that's where it gets a little finicky, which with how much Blackbeard would know about Rocks, because we also know that Blackbeard was underneath Whitebeard's wing from a very early age, and unless Whitebeard himself was telling the stories about Rocks, then I don't know. But
which would be a
as
bad
we know,
idea, which is giving him fuel.
yeah, that would be weird. But then again, the other part is we know one thing that we kind of can say for certain was the Sengoku was saying that the Rocks pirates are too ashamed or embarrassed to talk about what happened at God Valley, and by proxy Rocks and Rocks thing, which is why no one hears about Rocks, because not only do the Marines obscure the history, but the people on the Rocks pirates don't progress that tale or the legend of Rocks, which is reflected in Kaido's dialogue to Luffy, which is like dead man tell no tales. So it's like that's like a huge reference to Rocks, because Kaido also kind of throws shade indirectly by saying Whitebeard and Roger did it right, because their tales are told about them. They lived the right way. They were the correct pirates, which is like he's never mentioned his own captain in that light. Why? Because Rocks was a dead man who couldn't tell the tales and all that stuff. So it makes you wonder if Blackbeard had any real information about Rocks other than like the obscure stuff that even we got, you know?
Yeah. And then when it comes to Rocks, like, since his death is so odd, like, since it's not being touted in history, I do wonder, not even by the Rocks Pirates, like you said, I wonder if there's a chance that he was actually mutinied, or he got mutinied. Like, maybe the Rocks Pirates had a turn on him in the very end, and that could explain the, quote, you know, revenge tour.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be, hey, here's another kooky, crazy idea. What if he got Dami reversied at God Valley, and then he actually became the threat? You know what I mean?
I have a theory too, but what if he was a fraud?
Hey, all I'm saying, I think you're cooking with that one.
No,
because Rocks, you know,
don't say this.
Running a genocide on God Valley, that
Don't
doesn't sound like the Rocks. That doesn't sound like the Rocks I know. The Rocks I know just stabs little kids in the back after they ask them to join the crew. You know, he doesn't run an entire island operation genocide. That sounds more like the Holy Knights kind of code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So
yeah.
now that, I mean, the cat's not even out of the bag. I was about to say, like, now that this is here, do you think Blackbeard will eventually adopt the Rocks name? Like, he's gonna be Rocks D Teach now?
Hey, we do have to wonder. You know, given Blackbeard's lack of presence as a pirate, right? Because here's the other thing. Another thing that kind of is cool is Rocks is not a pirate at this point. He already killed an admiral, apparently, and he's not even a pirate. And that's interesting because Blackbeard wasn't considered a pirate technically until Thriller Bark, because he had 0 bounty. So, you know, if you have a 0 bounty, are you really a pirate? You know, if you're not a wanted man, are you really a criminal? Blackbeard technically, by the World Government Navy's metric, was not an evil criminal, even though he's on the Whitebeard Pirates. So that's an interesting play with, like, you know, Xebec and where he's at, and Blackbeard. But no, sorry. What was the thing that you asked me?
Will Blackbeard take on the Rocks name?
Oh, right. And so the other thing that you want to add in there too is that the reason why, like, Ace also doesn't like Roger, so he wouldn't keep his name, but he was given port gas to hide him, right?
Yeah.
That would make sense for Blackbeard too, to like be Rocks, not be going by like Rocks D Teach. But like, how would he necessarily know that as an orphan? And if he wasn't connected to the Rocks Pirates beforehand, right? And like, so it's kind of interesting when you come into that play, because then it's like he chose his mom's name because probably the mom was in his life, so he went with Marshall D Teach. So I don't think he would change his name to Rocks, honestly. And that's another thing where it's like, if he knew that his dad was Rocks, then I would think that he would go by the Rocks name, instead of Marshall. But that it either paints a picture that he doesn't like Rocks, or that he doesn't know that he's Rocks and he just stuck with what his mom told him. You know, Marshall D Teach. If his mom was in his life, we don't necessarily know. We know that he was an orphan by the time he got to Whitebeard, but we don't know how involved the mom was. So
yeah.
Which again, as far as that data book goes, there was like family involvement in some concept of Blackbeard's origin, but whether or not that stays true to our canon story, we don't know yet. So, you know, with all that in mind, like, I don't think he'll change the name. And I find that interesting because, yeah, Marshall might be special, but also Portgas. They in the dialogue, the Gorsei also singled out the Portgas family, which I talk about in my Nami video, that they singled out the Portgas family. It's not the D clan that was a problem; it was Portgas. Portgas being like, it was like almost similar to like Law singling out the water middle name, right? So maybe Marshall has a special tie to it. You know, so not too sure. Maybe he does change the name. I don't know. Could be wrong there, but I feel like he sticks with Marshall D Teach.
Yeah.
I mean, not like that he goes with it. He goes by Blackbeard anyways, so.
And then another thing too. So I think we're on the same boat, but Saturn going on about Blackbeard's special lineage, it's not just the Rocks connection, is it?
No, I think it's Mom. I think Mom Ancient Giant is like where it would be, but like some people think Buccaneer. I don't know. I just, you know, I don't really care for what it is. I think it's just Mom though.
Yeah, there's a good chance that, you know, if we have like all these Ace similarities or parallels, even, you could say that. So somebody commented this. I thought it was a good idea, but, you know, his mom could be another member of the D clan too.
Another member of the D clan?
Yeah, because Ace's mom, or Ace had like both sides being D clan members. There's a good chance that Blackbeard's the same way.
Yeah, the Super D.
Yeah, the Super D, double D's.
Yeah,
so
double D's.
Yeah, double D, man. So going on with it too, when it comes to Blackbeard, do you think that just like how he can't sleep, Rocks can't sleep either? Rocks can't dream?
Nah, he ain't a pussy ass bit. No, I'm joking. Does he have that? That would be an interesting one, to be honest, because like that would be like the Ace like not being able to turn his back like his dad, like against like common day insults, just like fifth grader level locker room insults. Like apparently Roger had the tism and he couldn't like just let that slide. He had to slaughter anyone who disrespected him even slightly. Maybe Rocks had the same insomniac thing that Blackbeard had. Honestly, I would believe that is something I didn't even like consider yet, like with the amount of time I had with the chapter. But you know, I don't think that would be crazy to think that there's some kind of lineage thing causing the insomnia thing. One of my videos actually, the Punk Joy Boy Records video, talking about the possibility that like Blackbeard's lineage is like maybe he's somehow tied to the Joy Boy Records, and that's how he has special information. And so at the time we didn't know necessarily how you connect to Punk Records, but I was like, oh, maybe like it's like the Mink thing, like you go to sleep and then you download the update or whatever, like Mink's moon, whatever. And so it's basically saying the moon being like what Blackbeard's avoiding. Like if he goes to sleep, maybe like he gets updated information or some shit like that. I don't know. The video did it better, but I was saying that like the Minks have some special property with the moon. Maybe Blackbeard had some special thing with the moon too, and it's lineage based. So I don't know if it comes from Rocks or the mom, but Rocks could probably be a good route. It would be very cool to find out. If that's the case in this in this backstory. Unsuspected, but very, or unanticipated, but very welcomed detail.
It'd be interesting if, you know, in the same vein, if Rocks had 2 devil fruits even.
Yeah, that could be why he's holding up 2 fingers, right side. The 2 fingers means something.
Yeah, he's not just fingering ladies over here. He's actually, you know, straight up striking a pose that he has 2 devil fruits. He's flexing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we did hear that, you know, nobody's ever eaten 2 devil fruits before, but I mean, what, a random Marine said that or something? And then even then, like, Rocks is erased from history, so we could also have that angle. It's just, you know, Rocks and the fact that we don't have too much information on him, it gets more and more silly, but we could always say that we're not in everybody's heads, right? We're not in Whitebeard's head. Maybe while he was fighting Blackbeard, he's like, oh, Rocks D Xebec would have done that. Yeah, actually, Rocks also summoned me to shoot down some big guy back in the past. You know what? Rocks also blocked my Guragura no Mi like this too. Like, imagine we get like Marineford 2.0 and Whitebeard actually has all that convo going on. That'd be kind of fun.
It would be Garb, Sengoku. We need it from all their perspectives.
Yeah. Imagine because Sengoku fought Blackbeard at Marineford. Imagine Sengoku's like, oh yeah, his father tanked this attack as well. Wait a minute. Yeah, be good stuff, man. But now, when it comes to Blackbeard's, you know, off-screen no Mi, do you think Rocks plays a part in that? Now that we have this connection? I mean, technically, Rocks also used the off-screen no Mi when he killed the Admiral, right? We didn't see it. What's going on behind the scenes with these guys, man?
I can't wait to clip this out and use this in the video.
No, this is a good thing.
Is the off-screen king progenitor. Blackbeard inherited the off-screen king title from his papa. He off-screened the Admiral. That's a feat that we're just giving to him.
When nobody's looking, always vote on Blackbeard. That's a crazy line. Like, at a 1v1, always bet on Kaido. When nobody's looking, always bet on Blackbeard, which...
that does line up.
It does.
Loki got off-screened because he got stabbed in the back. So, to Loki, it was an off-screen attack.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was about to say, though, like, the Admiral, too. We didn't even talk about him. But do you think he is going to be related to any current day Admirals? Yes or no?
Like, family-wise?
Yeah, because I think, you know, people have been talking about Akainu. And I do like the Akainu route a lot. Because, you know, for Kizaru, we saw him as a kid. He's, like, reading books or something like a loser. Kuzan, I think he was, like, drinking alcohol, actually. Kuzan was a crazy-ass kid. And then we had Akainu, who... He did look rough around the edges. He looked beaten up. But he was also wearing a marine hat that was torn apart as a kid. So I was like, wait, maybe Maybe there is something there because I think Akainu should be like what 1 years old. So maybe like he heard stories about his dad. He got his dad's clothing. And he's like, yeah, your dad died in battle. Here's his hat. And Akainu's like, ugh, I hate pirates. Is there a world for that or no? What do you think?
I feel like there could be a world, like then it would make Dragon and Akainu even more charged as a possible / highly likely tense partner duo, dynamic duo that existed in the Navy, most likely because they're Dragon did say he was in the Navy. Akainu was most likely there. Like you said, he had the Marine hat. But the reality would then be Garp would have brought Akainu's dad's murderer to justice, which would have like been the cherry on top to like the tension between Garp's like constant not betrayal but like lack of full subordination, because it's like Akainu can't do anything because not only is he the hero of the Marines, with whether or not he respects or not, he has to respect that on the books Garp would have brought his father's murderer to justice, something that he probably would have wanted to do himself. And then on top of that, that's like he would also look at Dragon because like Dragon has Garp as his father present, whereas Akainu wouldn't have that. Akainu would have lost his father, an admiral, a person of the Navy. And then so then it would also charge that whole thing about like Dragon defecting. And it's like, damn, your dad's a proud Navy man and you defected. Like how hard do you think my life is? My dad was killed by a pirate, and look at you, you're no different than those pirates that killed my father, something like that, right? And then it becomes more sour because as Akainu rises through the ranks and he becomes an admiral and he starts seeing behind the veil of the celestial dragons and their antics, as we see as a vice admiral. Yes, it's Garp, but it's also rookie like Garp. It's like new. It's not like prior to him being hero of the Marines at that time. That's not prestigious Garp. That's new blood Garp. And New Blood Garp already knew about the antics of the Celestial Dragons. He was like, are they doing that weird, creepy vacation thing? You wouldn't call me dead, doing a boundary bouncer role there. And then he's like, Roger's on the way. And then he's like, what? Say less. And he came through, right? So it's like, as Akainu rises through ranks and deals with the politics, he's more and more seeing like, wait a second. Rocks killed my dad at God Valley, and I know what God Valley is. I was well enough to be there, you know what I mean? So like if that's the case, then what about my dad? Is it Rocks? You know what I mean? Like back 56 years ago when that happened, so like it would be interesting because it would charge a lot, but I don't know if it necessarily needs to be that intertwined. Does it feel like those stories going that way? Yeah, I have different ideas for who the admiral was, but that's contingent on like the theories.
Admiral Orangutan. Yeah.
No. Now
what?
I know you want Trump to be in the thing, and you want the
orange orangutan,
leader.
Man, come on.
Oh, I thought the emphasis was the orange part. You wanted an orange admiral.
Because he's an orange admiral. We need a color. And I was saying that hey, orange is missing. We know Kong is named after a monkey. Orangutan, it fits Admiral Tang, brother.
It would only be valid if Oda made him look like Trump, because the orange supreme leader, give him the orange.
That'd be kind of sick.
Epithet, the orange tanned. Oh, and he can have the tan no mi. He can constantly like radiate burn you. Oh, that's kind of sick.
That wouldn't be bad. The nuke no mi. Ooh.
Yeah. Always got his finger on the button.
And then we wonder how Rocks
he made Buster Calls. He was the creator of Buster Calls.
So sick, dude. I like that.
Yeah. Making it,
give him all the aura.
Fire. Preemptive self-defense. So, perfect.
If we had to scale this unknown anomaly admiral, where would you put him? Like based off of pretty much nothing. Just pure headcanon. Where would you place this admiral amongst the ones we have currently? Like, is he beating Akainu? Is he beating Kong? Stronger than Garp? We'll throw Garp in there, saying Goku. How does he rank up to Kuzan even?
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to slander the Admiral, but Rocks was erased, but not because of like some magic bullshit. No, his name still exists. All right. God Valley was the one that was obscured from history and erased from the maps, and we don't know where it is today because it said it was disappeared from like reality. Not in the same way as Lucia, because as Vegapunk said, it's not happened before like that, and whether like it's most likely he's talking about Lucia, the laser beam, so it's not like that technically, but you gotta wonder how they managed to not talk about the one admiral who was killed in the entire Navy history. Surely that and the killer is something that, like, was constantly talked about. The only admiral that was ever killed canonically, and that's a history book. That's like the one president being assassinated. Everyone talks about that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big deal.
I think they did talk about him a lot. It's gonna be like the like the Saint Saturn picture in everybody's room kind of deal, right? We're just gonna learn about it later. Like, oh, everybody knows about Saint Saturn. Yeah, we have pictures of him.
And they just never gave Rocks, like they put his bounty out because he killed the admiral, but then at the same time nobody talks about that admiral because of why. And then because if they did, then they would know Rocks, because that was a heavily publicized thing. And if you know about the admiral and how he died, then you surely know who killed him, right? Like, that's crazy. I think more people know John Wilkes Booth than they know Lincoln and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so more people are repping John Wilkes Booth nowadays. Everyone's holding up the banners for him. No one's holding up for Lincoln. But yeah, the point
still loves Lincoln, man.
Not though. I hear a lot of I would say John Wilkes Booth copycats.
Dude, it's because you live in New
York.
No
one's copycatting Abraham Lincoln.
Over here, it's a staple that we watch the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer movie every freaking Sunday, dude.
The Oklahoma curriculum strikes again. Ooh.
See, John Wilkes, to me, he's a figure. He's like, he's just Rocks D Xebec, really. And Rocks,
and that's what I'm saying. His name lasts through history, but for whatever reason, this admiral was that forgettable. But my personal
one day, I swear to God, somebody's gonna look at Blackbeard, just a random Marine, and they're gonna say, Admiral. Okay, other than orangutan, what's a good name? Just come up with something random.
Silver Fang.
Admiral Silverfang, I will avenge you today. Like, imagine that. Just a random Marine name drops it, and we learn that every single Marine knows. What if we learned that the reason why the Marine outfits are the way they are today is because of Admiral Silverfang?
That's where my personal opinion is that I'd like this admiral to be like the progenitor of something valuable to our story, and where I landed. And I'm not going to go into the theory part of it, but the part would be that we don't have a good progenitor of sword in the story, to the point where I made a video giving Bogard that position. Because the thing is, it's like you want Garp to be there, but the dialogue just does not support it. Like the interactions do not support it. Suru and Sengoku's talk about Garp going with them doesn't sound like he leads and commands them. Like it's Garp and then their sword and their ideals line, whatever. But it doesn't even sound like a Garp thing to do in the line of like Luffy and the Grand Fleet, right? Like, they are all like confused. Like, wait, your goal isn't to be the strongest pirate? No, he's like, no, my goal is to have fun. And then they're just like, oh shit, that's kind of admirable. We mess with that. Let's do this. And then Barto starts crying, right? Like, that's what the Garp is. Garp is like innocently justice, and there's a lot of nuance to it because of decisions carry weight and stuff like that. Justice is a hard thing to carry. But when it comes to sword and the leadership of it, Like, not even Sengoku has been placed in a position where it makes sense. Like, he's been like with Corazon, like you could say that, but like even in that role, it doesn't seem like he's the leader per se. And then who do we keep going back? Like, who do we have more like to back up the line? It's like Kong. Like, I don't listen. I like Kong, but I would not want him to be the leader of Sword. The eventual reveal that Kobe and Drake, they've been following the orders of this dude who we don't even know has legs. Like, I don't know. But this admiral is, mentioned at a very interesting junction, and I feel like this guy being the leader of Sword, or the progenitor of Sword, the guy who started it, could make a lot of sense for like the context that I think that Rocks found himself at God Valley, or not God Valley, at Marriageois, which is that like Sword is kind of like a internal investigation kind of thing. Like they are separate and they're willing to throw down their thing, their name, but they are finding themselves counter to a lot of world government things, to the point that CP0 is like on site trying to kill them, right? So putting them in that position is very interesting, and you gotta wonder who started it. Kobe's like hearing about the One Piece is like, oh damn, we can't let them get that. So now like the Sword, their prerogative is the One Piece. If that's the conversation that the Admiral was possibly having at Marriageois, then maybe he got killed for mentioning the One Piece. And maybe that's a very important thing, is that the One Piece is not a name that the world knows, but somehow it starts getting spread. And somehow Rock starts delving into the taboos of the world. That's what leads up to God Valley. That's what Oda had preceded his reputation with, was that he was vilified for the taboos that he was entertaining, which taboos is the word that was given to the Oharans for studying the poneglyphs, right? Those are the taboos. One Piece, Laugh Tale, Ancient Kingdom, the stuff that Vegapunk, Ohara, those are taboos. Robin, taboos, right? So the Pluton blueprints, keeping them, having them, that's taboo. All that stuff is taboo. So makes you wonder, how did Rocks get that leg up? And I have a better picture of where I think that the Admiral placed in, but that's a lengthier conversation. So I'll just say I'd like it to be the sword leader. I'd like it to be that. That'd be nice.
It's funny because there's like the whole meme that like every new character we meet, people throw up like, hey, is this blah blah blah? Is this that person? There was one that said, is this Luffy's mom? And given the timeline, it would not work at all. But it's so funny to think about. Like, is this Luffy's mom?
Some people on the stream were saying, yo, the Admiral was Blackbeard's mom. And it was actually just love. And so they Rocks did not kill the Admiral. He rizzed her up. And so to cope with it, the world government just said, oh no, she died.
Yeah, the world government lied.
Admiral. Yeah. I mean, that would be a nerf too, right? To the story or Rox's reputation. What if we found out that the Admiral that he killed was the only female Admiral? Would that be a nerf to his reputation?
I don't think so. If the female Admiral was in love, then yeah. But if it's just a girl, I wouldn't say that's like a downside.
Oh, okay, so you're okay with the girl being as equally strong as like Akainu, if not stronger Akainu than Kizaru and Kuzan. Like, there's no issue with that.
Yeah. As long as she has a cool power, I don't care.
Yeah. Nothing lame like more BDSM fruits, right? Not like Suru's.
If it's like Suru's fruit, like, oh, like this is the first female Admiral. She's great at washing dishes. It's like, okay, what are we doing, guys? Like giving Suru the clean fruit. I mean, sure, it's cool, but like, we could have given her an actual power,
We got
something
Hina.
A little bit.
We
doper.
got what's Suru's granddaughter's name? I forget her name.
The whip, has the whip. Yeah, so Kujaku has the whip. Suru has the clean fruit.
Hina has the lock you up, lock you down,
bondage fruit. It's like, okay, when are we gonna get like a female marine that doesn't have a joke devil fruit?
Yeah, Big Mom is an exception in terms of females with like not shoehorned powers. because Boa has the love.
Boa has the love. Alvida has like the smooth skin fruit. Like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yamato and Big Mom are like the exceptions, but I think we need more exceptions out there.
Yeah, yeah. Like Robin
imagine
got
it's like the
big
first
titty
female
fruit.
admiral, and then it's like, oh yeah, Rocks D Xebec, he beat, Joanna, the admiral. Oh, what was her power? Well, let me tell you, she's really good at vacuuming. It's like, okay. It's like, what the fuck are we doing
Vacuuming
here?
is crazy. She
Yeah,
was
the
good at the
vacuum no
sucking,
me.
bro.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's
that's
like a One Piece thing
wild.
too. But yeah, hopefully Oda
Dude.
doesn't go that route with this potential female admiral.
Unironically, that would be insane if she had like the vacuum fruit and she created like voids and whatever. But
Oh
just
my
giving her
God.
that like thing, for a fact that Oda would not make it like that. It would literally be
No,
she spawns a
dude.
vacuum.
Yeah, it's like the whole buggy splitting and atom thing with this chop fruit. It's like, yeah, the vacuum fruit. Oh my God, it can create something akin to a black hole. It's like, yeah sure. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, even if he gave her the black hole fruit, she would not escape the same conversation of like, okay, Oda, calm down, brother. Like that's go a step too far for this. Yeah.
Oh, shout out to the admiral though. I hope it is I hope it does tie into some admiral or some marine's backstory. It doesn't have to, but I just think it'd be cool. Like, we're short on time with One Piece. Who knows who's actually going to get a backstory at this point or not. So I think it would be nice if just like, this is an easy slam dunk to flesh out an admiral, give them some motivation. People are saying it could be like Kobe's grandfather. I'm like, yeah, fine. I'll take that too. And literally anything.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Kobe, marine greatness. Didn't see that one coming.
People are saying, people after this chapter are saying Nepo Peace is like a real thing. And it's like, I feel like it's kind of always been a thing more or less. It depends how you see it. The whole show is about like inherited wills. I feel like that's a better way to say Nepo Peace, right? It's just inherited wills. It's the inherited will show.
Yeah. Like, as far as contextualizing it here, the reality is Luffy's not related to Roger, but that doesn't absolve him that his dad is Dragon and his grandfather's
the world's worst criminal, or the most wanted criminal. Yes.
He inherited the will of the Pirate King, but he also, which, that's not his strength or whatever, but I mean, he's a monkey. Like, that's not.
Yeah, like the legendary yellow
Blackbeard
fruit that is the namesake of like the Harley Texan, the ending and creation of worlds. Like,
yeah, and now Blackbeard, son of the previous Demon King, essentially, like we gave him to him, right?
Yeah.
Like he has the D clan, he has the world's strongest. He called the world's strongest man his pops for a time. Also ate him, killed him, what have you.
And then we have Weevil, Whitebeard's quote son, who apparently has the strength of like Prime Beard or something. And it's like, or Whitebeard in his younger days. It's like,
it's there. It's just slightly different than like what like Ichigo had, where it's just like he has the Avatar orgy in him. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
family lineage is just an orgy.
This is more so going the route of like Naruto with like Indra, Ashura. Being that fight that just keeps on happening, like Hashirama and Madara. Like we now had that with like Luffy and Blackbeard in a way.
Yeah. It's gonna be the yin yang.
Yeah, the person who carries Roger's dreams versus the person who carries Blackbeard's dream. And then watch, we're gonna go to the Void Century. We're gonna see like, oh yeah, by the way, there was another two members of the D Clan who also fought a lot. His name was Black Hair, and then here's Monkey. Maybe not Monkey. Maybe that's where we use the orangutan thing.
Yeah, it'd be
Monkey D Orangutan.
Joy Boy versus Sad Boy, as we predicted, and it'd be Nika versus Gleeka. Jika. Oh, I forgot Jika.
Yeah, Jika is a kid.
Yeah.
Shouts to the Jika no Mi.
Yeah, shout outs to Captain Kid. Ooh, I saw one of your favorite ideas is that Kid is the third brother. It was Blackbeard, it was Blackbeard, Buggy, and Kid. And we even talked about this, how Kid is what 23, and you even buckled down on stream and said, "Yep, it's possible that Rocks is his dad," and then you came out with the phenomenal idea that just like Blackbeard is better than Ace because he won, Blackbeard's mom is better than Ace's mom. So if Ace's mom could hold Ace in for 2 years, Blackbeard, Kid's mom held Kid in for 14 years. That's what you said on stream. This is your pinnacle theory.
For a theory of mine, I wanted to be that one.
You wanted to be that one. I'll have you know, I precog that's how much passion you have for this one. That on Dax's channel, I already said, guys, if this is what you're gonna remember Psy for, it's.
Oh, did you actually say that during Dax's video? Oh fuck yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Wait, no, I think there was 2 things we said on stream, and one of them I think was that one. I think I did say that one I forget what it was.
I love that so much.
I definitely said something like Sai wants to be known for this theory, and it was one of the batshit ones you said on the podcast.
That's so good. Yeah, if I go down for one theory, guys, it's gonna be the fact that Kid is Blackbeard's little brother. The mom held Kid in the womb for 14, 15 years. It's a feat that nobody can believe. Not even the community believes it.
Let me see if Dax uploaded it, because now I want to know what I actually said. Oh damn, you have the buggy hidden lineage in the thumbnail with you and Brago. Look at you pushing the agenda. Sai is such a great friend. Such an awesome person. Always supporting a friend's theory.
Hey. It wasn't your theory per se. I mean, this theory's been around for a minute.
I mean, I've been around for a minute, you know. But yeah, you're right. You're actually no. You're right. I wasn't the one who said, you know, Buggy Rocks' son. It's just like a lot of people from the comment section was like, Par, what do you think? And I'm like, hey, if you got that from this theory, that's great. You know, good for you. That's a good one. You know,
that was like
that's
one of the
not
first images that popped up. Like the minute we saw Rocks, people were putting images online about like them side by side. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean,
funny because, if I didn't see those images, I don't even know if I'd like make that connection that they look similar.
My thumbnail is the cross guild with Rocks where Buggy is, and so everyone's splicing their own thing. I have the perfect one. I'm gonna splice that thumbnail Fraud Valley and put Buggy on it and be like, oh my Buggy Valley. No, I'm joking, not Buggy Valley, but you know,
Buggy Valley sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Buggy was probably there. You know what I mean? We don't know. We don't know technically.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Buggy, I mean, he does have his own kingdom, Muggy Kingdom.
Yeah, Monkey Kingdom.
You know, people are saying that next chapter, they can already see Rocks pulling out a Muggy Ball or a Rocky Ball. Could you see that?
Hey. The Rocky Ball? Dude. I'm ready for it.
This is going to sound crazy, but, you know, I think we should, like, make cannons great again. Like, in this story, we don't really have... Yeah. Because, like, remember back in, like, early One Piece, cannons were, like, a big thing. Like, yeah, look at this cannon. And then 3D2Y, we had Bundy World with his cannon. Like, a cannon that could equal to a Buster Call with his Moa Moa no Mi. Like, nowadays, though, like, nobody talks about strong cannons. It's like a conversation of the past, man.
Hey, why not give Rocks the cannon no Mi? Yeah. Just give it to him.
He just creates cannons?
Yeah, he's just a cannonball. He's just a reckless cannonball pirate.
That would explain Blackbeard's shape, too.
Yeah, cannon shaped. You are what you eat. Ah, beautiful. Sigh. Amazing.
Dude, I'm killing the theories, brother. I'm killing the theories. You can hold the applause.
Holding it.
I don't do this for
back.
rep.
No child left behind. Nah, I held back that bitch, bro. Holding back that applause.
Oh, dude, you fucking know it. Well, with that being said, though, guys, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it as per usual. You guys know where to check out Party. He's gonna be linked down below. And yeah, there's no break next week. This feels like a break chapter. I feel like we should have ended on this, right? Like, hey, here's this chapter, break.
I need it.
Yeah. I mean, with how crazy this is, I feel like we have no time to digest it properly. We're going right into 11:56. The spoilers are already out, man.
Oh wow, spoilers are already out.
I'm kidding.
Oh shit!
I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, they're not out yet.
Yeah.
I just lied.
Damn, I'm about to go on this video, and then I'm fine with being completely wrong, but I don't know if next chapter is the chapter that proves me completely wrong. All I know is that next chapter we're probably gonna get Rocks'. If he has a devil fruit, it's probably next chapter we find out.
Yeah, he's probably just gonna whip it out for fun. Like that's what I see. Like, hey, check this out, kid. Yeah. Same with Shiki, maybe same with Whitebeard. Like, imagine they all want to show off their powers. Like, maybe Loki's like, hey guys, I'm a freak. And they're like, you're not a freak, kid. And it's like going to a circus. They're like, check this out. Look, we're the freaks here. And they all
going
just, like,
to a circus, you say? I like that. I wonder what circus-like character there is.
It goes back to my theory.
Good ending.
It goes back to my theory.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
But thank you guys so much for watching. We really freaking appreciate it as per usual. And hopefully you guys enjoyed your time here. You know, the Parcast is long. It's grueling. I don't really know many people that can stomach 3 hours of us. So if you made it here, just know that you could probably beat a female admiral.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys.
But they're as strong as Akainu. Don't be.
Yeah. They have like a legitimate devil fruit. They have like a elemental power. Like.
Yeah, there's no women nerf in.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Maybe that character will get the win-win no me.
Yeah, Oda famously has given Big Mom the same treatment Kaido got.
Yeah. We of course look at Kaido and Big Mom's fight and said, wow, these guys are equal.
Yeah. All the time.
100%.